Hey guys. This is the part 9 for What If Naruto Was a Businessman and the Owner of a Company. Hit like and subscribe if you like this one, and also please check the author in the description. Let's start. Chapter 11. Everyone quickly took a few minutes to calm down from the small show that had been in front of them, and Ibiki finally nodded his head with their silence. Damn brats, that's what all of them were. Still too damn excited for their own good, but this was his job and he was going to do it right. Seeing everyone silent, Ibiki spoke. Good, now then form a line and pick a number from this box. Then sit down and continue to shut up before I have you kicked out of here. Ibiki ordered, and the Chunin hopeful stood up and formed the line without complaint and began to take numbers, then proceeded to sit in random seats. Naruto appeared in front of Ibiki, and the two seemed locked in a gaze for a little while. Ibiki withheld his comments, but he was busy analyzing the blonde in front of him. This was the main source of his subordinate's problems, and Ibiki was inwardly surprised that Naruto almost gave him nothing to read about him. He just stared at the taller man for a second before taking his number, turning his foot and walking towards his seat. Ibiki watched him go, and he gave a short smirk. Damn cheeky brat. This might be a fun exam after all, Ibiki thought to himself before he noticed the other students come and go until all of the seats were filled with people. The blonde did a quick scan and noticed Sakura was pretty far off from Sasuke and himself. Naruto, himself, was seated between Hinata and Samui. He glanced to his left and glared at the place that Kabuto was sitting, but didn't say anything. He just gave a small sigh and stared forward. He could feel Samui's eyes trying not to look at him and keep up some form of professionalism, but Naruto could only imagine how hard that was for her to do. He could feel her eyes taking the occasional fast glance towards his body. He somehow got figured from her that if she took her eyes off his form for even a second, then he would disappear from her view forever. That's at least what he was feeling from the young blonde Kumokunoichi. Alright maggots, eyes front. This will be your first test to see if you fucks have what it takes. Your first test is a written exam, Ibiki said, dropping the ball on them all. Sakura merely raised an eyebrow while Sasuke frowned. Naruto slowly placed his hand on the desk and merely heard bored. And then Naruto-kun, is something wrong? Naruto heard the delicate Hyuga ask. He noticed Samui turn her eyes back to him, making the blonde sigh. No, there isn't, Naruto said simply, and Hinata nodded slowly, but for some reason she found that she should doubt those words, but she was getting sidetracked. These tests will be handed out to you while I explain. This test is filled with questions. Answer them as best you can in the time given to you. I'm sure that I don't need to tell you this, but for those of you who are probably slow in the head, then I will explain. There is to be no cheating. Not here in my classroom. Oh, but don't worry, we'll be keeping watch over all of you to make sure that you don't cheat. If we catch you cheating 3 times, then you and your team are out of here. Ibiki shouted, and the genin in the room gasped in shock before they shouted indignities to the Tokubetsu Jonin. Ibiki got a tick mark on his head from this bullshit. He woke up late, he had his bitch's subordinate to deal with, the damn coffee machine broke down again, and now he had whiny genin to deal with this early in the morning. It was too much to keep his patience any longer. Shut up! Ibiki shouted, silencing everyone before he stilled his breathing and slowly began to calm down. Another outburst like that, and I will make sure none of you survive this test. Ibiki snarled out, and the genin grimaced before they stayed silent. Naruto got his test, as did Sakura and Sasuke. The young blonde looked at the questions over the test and frowned. He looked back up to Ibiki for a few minutes. How fitting to humble someone, Naruto thought to himself while the seconds on the clock ticked away. Once you're done with this test, then there will be one more question. A 10th question. I hope you can survive until that time, Ibiki said with a menacingly smile, getting Kiba and Chuji to gulp. Omoi and Karui gave slight grins while Samui sighed and rubbed her neck. Alright, this can't be too hard. Naruto-kun made me go over lots of jutsu theory and strategy scenarios while we were at his house, but I wonder why he had moved our stuff so suddenly. He said that he didn't need the house anymore, but I wonder why. Where is he going to live? Maybe I should ask him when we have the chance to be around each other again, Sakura thought, giving herself a nod. Alright, start. Ibiki shouted and the sounds of pencil hitting paper became apparent, while the Chunin proctors around the room quickly picked up their clipboards and smirked, hoping to pick the little genin and their eyes apart. Ibiki was going to enjoy this to the fullest if he had to. Waiting room. Kakashi quickly entered into a random room where Kurenai, Guy and Asuma had been seated on a couch. Yo, you three, Kakashi called, getting their attention while they looked from a surveillance TV screen. So Kakashi, how do you think your team will do? Asuma asked while Kakashi laid on the couch. I'm sure they will be fine. I've taught them all they needed to learn, Kakashi said while Kurenai raised an eyebrow. You sure they aren't teaching themselves? From what Irika says, then that doesn't say much about your teaching skills, Kurenai said while Kakashi suddenly slumped his shoulders. Now Kurenai, there is no need to be so harsh. I assure you that I have taught them all well, Kakashi said while Kurenai just shrugged her shoulders. So tell me about Ibiki. I haven't had too many interactions with him, but Anko tells me that he is the head of the TNI department. I find the idea of this test to be very strange, Kurenai said while Asuma chuckled. That's true. You haven't been a Jonin for very long, have you, Kurenai? Well, let's just say that Ibiki is one serious guy. As you can guess, his speciality is torture and interrogation. He works mind games on the opponent's psyche, and if you don't have the mental capacity to overcome him, then you will be left a shriveled mess after he's done with you. Honestly, having that guy for a proctor, what is Dad thinking? Asuma asked while Guy folded his arms. Such underhanded tactics are unyouthful. It is a shame that Ibiki does not let out his flames of youth like Kakashi and I do, Guy said while Kakashi's sweat dropped at being associated with such words, but he didn't reply to that. Well, Guy, not everyone can go into everything at full power like you can. It doesn't work that way. Besides, we're shinobi, we're supposed to use underhanded tactics to win. It's how we get things done, Kakashi said, and no one could disagree with him in the slightest before they noticed Kakashi smirk. But there is someone with a good mental capacity in there, and I don't just mean Shikamaru, Kakashi said while the others turned to him in confusion. They only saw Kakashi take out his orange book and read quietly. Asuma and Guy widened their eyes before they turned back to Kurenai, and both were even more surprised when they saw her just looking at the book questioningly before closing her eyes and turning them back to the TV screen. Guy blinked while Asuma dropped his cigarette. Hell, even Kakashi was surprised, but he held it better. God, Naruto, what did you do to Kurenai? Kakashi thought to himself. Exam room. Number 45 fail. Numbers 12 and 79 fail. Get out of this room. A Chunin shouted while the lone genin gasped until his teammates stood to their feet and walked out while he shouted curses until he was kicked out as well. Sakura didn't let that distract her in the slightest. Her eyes darted left and right as she noticed Sasuke using his Sharingan to cheat by copying the strokes of someone else. She could see the smug grin on his face as he did so. That's right, her teammate figured it out, and so did she. This was all about information gathering and not letting the enemy know what you were doing. It was just that simple when she thought about it. Good thing Naruto-kun had me go over information gathering one of those days. My head still hurts from that bash to the head when I couldn't take that scroll properly. Not one of my greatest moments, Sakura admitted inwardly. She then looked up and noticed Naruto leaning his head on his hand. Naruto-kun, what are you doing? You have to finish. Also, you're exposing your test to everyone. Why aren't you worried? Sakura asked, but as she looked around she noticed no one attempting to read the blonde's paper. Sakura was confused. How could people not see his answers? They were right there in front of her, and thanks to her improved eyesight, she could see them clearly, but it wasn't like Naruto to just give something like that away. So, who was he helping? Sakura's mind raced trying to decipher Naruto's intentions before she noticed a genin fidget. She saw him trying to actually see Naruto's paper. Sakura watched the action curiously as he craned his neck to the side. Number 55 fail. Numbers 88 and 96 fail. Get out! Ibiki shouted, and Sakura saw the horror-stricken face of the genin who had tried to cheat off Naruto's paper before him and his team were booted out of the door. Sakura looked back, but she noticed Naruto's paper hadn't moved. Sakura blinked several times before the realization struck her face. It's for me. Naruto-kun knows how far I can see and he answered all the questions to help me out. He placed the paper at such an angle that I'm the only one who can see all of the answers perfectly, and if anyone else tries then they will be too exposed in their cheating with nothing to do about it. Naruto-kun, even. Now you're guiding me, Sakura thought with a suddenly bright smile before she wrote down the answers that Naruto provided her. Naruto slowly opened his eyes from using his sensory ability and slowly nodded. It seems that she has finally understood. No doubt she could answer these if given the time, but I need her focused on the last question more than anything else, Naruto thought to himself. He looked up and he noticed Ibiki looking at him rather interested. Naruto exhaled a small breath before closing his eyes and continuing with what he was doing. Damn brat. He knows I'm watching him and his little act, but he doesn't even give a damn. He's got a personality to match yours, Anko, Ibiki thought to himself before he heard more shouting. Number 23 fail. Numbers 13 and 2 fail. Everyone get out. A Chunin proctor shouted, but none of the others let it deter them as they continued writing. Soon the sounds of pencil dropping alerted everyone as few turned to see Sakura place her pencil down and fold over her paper. She gave a wide smile while some of the gawked. What? How is she done already? A genin can't possibly know the answer to these questions. Karui shouted inwardly before she heard the sounds of more paper flipping. Samui and Hinata turned to see Naruto flip his paper over without a care in the world. It seems you still haven't changed, Samui thought, letting a small smile slip out, but she didn't mind it all that much. Ibiki rose an eyebrow to the blonde before snorting. He just chuckled to himself, but Naruto wasn't the least bit amused at such things. He just allowed the time to roll by, and so did Sakura, while Sasuke fumed. What? Why are they done? Did they figure it out that easily? How could they? What is going on here? Sasuke wondered, but he didn't have an answer as to how this was possible. Ryuzetsu and Sai sported small grins of their own, but Ryuzetsu flipped her hair slightly and shook her head. Always the efficient one, right, Naruto-sama? Ryuzetsu asked before going through her own test, which was only being accomplished with Haku's help. The green-haired Takikunoichi and brunette girl from IWA turned to him as they just saw Naruto's hardened gaze until he closed his eyes to do some thinking. Neither said anything, but formed their own opinions about what they had seen just then. The minutes passed away slowly for Naruto, giving him the time to think. It's because of Danzo that I was able to see this coming, but Orochimaru's coming to the village during this time isn't good. I don't know his motives, but if I continue to think about it then it's more than possible. I'll have to settle things quickly with him and get back what's mine. It's much too dangerous in his hands, but it doesn't seem like he understands the way of making it work yet. If he did, then he would have attacked Konoha much sooner. Not as much of a genius as you ignorantly led yourself to believe, Naruto thought, sporting a slight glare towards nothing in particular. Just his own private thinking. Alright, stop. Ibiki hollered and Naruto leaned up. He noticed more than a quarter of the room was gone, but at least he and his team made it, and for now that was his main focus. Soon people wrote down as much as they could before ultimately stopping and placing down their pencils. People waited anxiously while Ibiki looked around the room one time before grinning. So we're finally down to the competent people who were able to keep themselves from cheating? Can't say that I actually give a fuck since the others left, but now we'll see just where your worth is. Now then, to the 10th question, Ibiki said while others gulped. Ibiki chuckled before deciding to have some more fun. However, I think it would be best to tell you. Are you sure you want to take this question? Ibiki asked, and others blinked. Naruto narrowed his eyes further, and so did Sakura. Sakura placed a finger to her chin and scratched it. Was that the 10th question? That we would be willing to take it or not? It's not what I was expecting, Sakura said in thought while someone raised their hand. What happens if we don't take the question? People turned and they noticed Omoi was the one who asked while Ibiki snickered. Well, obviously your ass fails. His voice boomed and more of the genin grimaced at the thought. Well, obviously we're going to take the question. Kiba shouted back and Ibiki nodded with a slight smirk. I assumed you would, but you should understand now that if you get the question wrong then you will be genin forever. Ibiki announced and a collection of gasps came from everyone. Sakura raised an eyebrow while Naruto resisted the urge to scoff. For people to be this concerned over such things. How absurd, Naruto thought before Temari slammed her table. What the hell? You aren't allowed to decide that, she shouted before a wave of Ki washed over them. Naruto faced it head on and easily conquered it while others fell back. Shut your mouth. You all are just unlucky to have me for a proctor this year. My exam, my fucking rules. But you know what? I'm feeling generous today. If anyone wants to cop out and try again next year, then by all means do that. It would suit you better than this, Ibiki said, and Naruto was instantly dissatisfied as he felt people walk out of the room. He said nothing as it wasn't his place for them to make their own decisions, but he was sorely disappointed. Sakura just shook her head as she noticed 5 teams leave due to their cowardice. Oh well, she didn't care. That just meant more people that she didn't have to deal with in these exams. Ibiki watched hands raise left and right as people began to file out. He looked to Naruto, and the blonde just waited for this entire thing to be over with. You could give up too. No one's going to hold it against you, Ibiki said to the blonde, getting others to look at him. Naruto-kun, Hinata and Sakura said at the same time. Sasuke slightly snarled, but kept his cool. Naruto had better not mess this up for him. This was a place where Sasuke could prove his strength, as well as his clan's superiority once again. He wouldn't lose this just because Naruto wasn't able to take it. Naruto said nothing, getting Ibiki's eyebrow to twitch in annoyance. The whiskered blonde just continued to do nothing as he stared at the proctor in front of him, while Ibiki did the same. They glared at each other for what seemed like the longest time, making people feel uncomfortable around the two before Ibiki broke the stare and sighed. He snickered and nodded. So the rest of you actually have some balls and are deciding to risk this, are you? Very well then, I guess I'll get started then, you pass. Ibiki said while Naruto nodded. He thought so. Sakura arched her eyebrow and everyone else was silent. What? What do you mean we pass? Karui shouted while the others nodded, agreeing with her question. Ibiki sighed and chuckled. You all discovered the true purpose of this exam. Didn't it strike you as strange that these questions were so hard to answer? We were testing your information gathering skills. You could say that this test was designed to force you to cheat. Obviously those who left were fools who couldn't stealth through the exam like you could, but you passed because you risked your professions for the question, Ibiki said. Sakura nodded. That made sense. Shinobi risked their lives, and those who weren't prepared to do so weren't cut out for such things. In this world, information is vital to survival. When you have to lead a team into dangerous opposition, then you must be prepared to make the sacrifices that come with it. It is all to complete the task that you were given. Those who would rather back out of a mission or not take it from fear of death or rather have their comrades live to fight another day aren't shinobi, at least not while I'm around, Ibiki said, taking off his headband, showing the numerous cuts, burns and scars to everyone, getting disgusted looks from them while Naruto frowned. It is not for you to decide what a shinobi is and isn't, Naruto said clearly. Multiple people gasped as they turned while they noticed Naruto staring at the exam proctor until Ibiki locked his eyes with Naruto's. Naruto-kun, Sakura said while Samui blinked. Little brother, what are you saying? Samui asked. Gaara, Temari, and Kankuro turned to him, as did the girls from Taki and from IWA. Karui and Omui glanced to the young blonde also, as did the other genin of his village. Is this kid insane? Does he want to fail his team? Temari wondered to herself before they noticed Ibiki walking forward, ignoring the genin in the above seats, and staring harshly towards the blonde while Naruto stared back uncaring. Is that right? Well, what do you believe a shinobi is? Ibiki asked, and Naruto's eyes cleared if ever so slightly while he placed his arms on the table. It doesn't matter what I believe a shinobi is. Let me ask you this. Say you complete your mission, say you are the only one who survived from your team and you passed whatever information you had to your leader. Is that the end? Naruto asked, and most people blinked. Hey Kuratsuchi, you know what this guy is talking about? One of the brunette's teammates asked before Kuratsuchi growled. Well, shut it. I want to hear this, she said while leaning forward. The others were surprised before they seemed to have thoughts of their own. Even the Chunin proctors in the room thought about Naruto's words, but since no one said anything, then Ibiki decided to answer. I do believe it is, Ibiki said while Naruto nodded slowly, not agreeing with his answer, but accepting that he did in fact answer. People took the long silence with caution as Naruto closed his eyes. It seemed like an eternity to everyone before Naruto opened his eyes once again. Wrong. It never is. You will bear the full responsibility of everything that happens on that mission. If the enemy retaliates and kills people in your borders because of your act, then it's your fault. If your village goes to war with another because of those missing documents, then it's your fault. If the dead person's loved ones despise the village because they died, then it's your fault. It's your fault because you were not strong enough to complete both the mission and be responsible with your team. This day and age, people think things are so simple. They believe an apology will fix anything and everything. No, it never does. There is always a lingering resentment to everything. It is foolish to compare human life to something as inconsequential as previous information, Naruto said while the others blinked. Karui and Omoe shared a look while others glanced to each other and murmured. So outside elements are the leader's fault? Isn't it foolish to believe that everyone can make it out alive? Ibiki asked, and to everyone's surprise Naruto nodded. That it is, but information is never so valuable that it must be placed over a life. Human life is the pinnacle of importance. Nothing is as important, or more important, as it is. There are always other ways of attaining information, and if you don't see them, then you make them. It is too easy to tell someone they died for the sake of the mission. No, they died because you couldn't protect them. Because you didn't have the strength necessary to make it happen. That is a shinobi, one who endures all the responsibility that he/she must carry until he/she dies, Naruto said, and this left the genin in the room speechless. The green-haired girl widened her eyes while Kuratsuchi stared at Naruto. So intensely did she stare that she thought her eyes would leave their sockets. Sasuke looked at his desk and growled before he remained silent. Sakura looked down at her sheet of paper, but her thoughts weren't focused on it. Aniki, Sokka thought while Kabuto slowly chuckled. Good words, Naruto-kun, but they are still a fool's words. No, there is no responsibility if the weak deserve to die. They just weren't strong enough to go on living in this reality, so they will be better off in death, Kabuto thought to himself. Kyuubi frowned indefinitely at Naruto's words, but he was definitely listening to them. They made the nine-tailed demon fox growl in some annoyance, but even he had to admit that at least his container knew about being responsible, even if he was a sack of shit human that would be better off dead at Kyuubi's feet than where he was right now. Tenten stared at Naruto confusingly while Niji, for once in his life, agreed with Naruto. That's right, people were supposed to be responsible to the end. The damned Hyuga clan was its own example, and so was Kyumo. They were all responsible. The Chunin in the room looked at their clipboards as they contemplated Naruto's words. No one knew how to counter him in the slightest. Gaara, Kankuro and Temari were silent as well while Ibiki stared at Naruto. The two seemed to be having their own inward conversation before Ibiki pulled away. Not bad for a brat, but it hardly matters right now, Ibiki said, and everyone felt the air in the room lighten considerably. We'll pick up this conversation later, but for now I will congratulate all of you on passing the first exam, Ibiki said, hands in his trench coat pockets while others sighed and chuckled with each other, but a few were still thinking of Naruto's words. However, soon everyone gasped as a large roll of cloth came through one of the windows while kunai stuck to the walls and the ceiling, bringing up a banner. Naruto noticed Anko roll out of the cloth and hold out her hands. Don't relax yet, you brats. This was just the easy part. Now let's get going and follow me. Anko shouted, raising her hand into the air while the others' sweat dropped. The fuck? Is everyone in Konoha this fucking weird? Karui thought to herself, and Omoe was wondering the same thing. The young green-haired girl raised an eyebrow while the other members of her team chuckled. Wow, Fu, she's just as weird as your stupid ass, one of her teammates berated while the girl named Fu snarled. Naruto's eyes slowly darted to the left, and he narrowed his eyes. Did he just hear that right? No, he needed to be sure. If he was right, then Naruto would start taking measures. However, he would also begin measures of making sure to keep Kisa under control if this would be true. However, he couldn't afford it at the moment. Great, another weirdo, Kuratsuchi thought to herself while shaking her head. Zaku and his team chuckled lightly, but didn't say anything. How does Naruto-sama put up with all these people? Ryuzetsu wondered to herself while Haku merely chuckled to herself lightly. Sakura held her head down and sighed. Enko-san, Sakura said, inwardly embarrassed by what the older woman was doing, while Naruto decided not to respond. He felt there was no need to. He then noticed that he and Enko locked eyes for a few minutes. Naruto narrowed his own and Enko's breath hitched before she quickly broke the stare and forcefully removed the blush from her face. Damn it, why did this have to happen now? Fuck, she still couldn't get her own damn shit together enough to even look him in the eyes. Enko, you're late, Ibiki said while Enko gawked. What? Enko asked while Ibiki nodded his head. We expected you at least 5 minutes ago, Ibiki said while Enko resisted the urge to impale something with one of her kunai. Brushing a hand through her hair, she sighed before looking at the groups of people. Whoa, Ibiki, you really dimmed the numbers down. I guess you haven't lost your touch. At least let me have some kind of fun, will you? Should I bet I could still take half this number down if I really needed to, Enko said, getting everyone back on edge before she walked over to her hole in the window. Well? Aren't you fuckers coming? We're gonna have a good time together. Go talk to your sensei about where the next exam will be, 'cause I sure as hell ain't tellin' ya. See ya later, kiddies, Enko said, hopping out of the window and dashing off before Ibiki dismissed the other people. The exam proctor then left to go do some things while people filed out of the room. Everyone had quickly left, except for 2 people. Naruto stood up from his desk and turned in his aisle before going to walk towards the doors. Wait, Naruto stopped as he closed his eyes. He didn't have to turn around to know that Samui was looking at him. For some reason, beyond his comprehension, he didn't turn around and meet her eyes. Why, he didn't know, but he was testing something. What is it? Naruto asked before he felt Samui's arms wrap around his waist and pull him into a warm hug. Naruto slowly opened his eyes as they reflected familiarity. He sighed before he felt Samui lean her head on his back. You survived. I knew you did, Naruto. I held on because I knew you survived. You didn't message me or anything, but I knew you were alive because the company thrived more and more. I heard about the bridge that was named after you and other things. The last thing that made me truly believe was when Mabui-san returned and spoke of a young blonde that she had met with that offered her a good book. I took that and decided to join the Chunin exams. Kumo originally was on the fence about joining these exams, but when I said that I wanted to go, then that clenched it with my team. I figured that it had to be you, and I was right. It wasn't cool what you did, but I'm glad you're alive, little brother, Samui replied while Naruto held his head down. I could have been dead, Samui. You didn't need to wait for me, Naruto said while Samui shook her head. I was going to wait. I was going to wait for as long as I needed to if it meant that I would be able to see you again. Atsui hasn't been the same since we saw that. Just let me have this, Samui said while Naruto closed his eyes. Both blondes stood there in silence as Samui felt as much of Naruto's warmth as she could. For Naruto, this was still very strange. He wasn't used to these displays of affection. He had witnessed it, but rarely ever offered or had it himself. The furthest he got in affection was that kiss from Sakura, but he was sure that was an accident. Please, Naruto slightly turned his head and barely caught Samui's whisper. Please promise me that you won't leave me like that again, Samui said while Naruto stiffened. His shoulders hung heavily before he escaped from Samui's grip. She slightly shivered from the lack of contact and worried that he would leave before she noticed Naruto turn around and stare at the face of one of the many people he had met when he left Konoha. Samui, you know what I've said about promises, Naruto said, and Samui nodded, looking at the ground. They are merely words, and words barely hold strength alone. Do something through action, Samui said, and Naruto nodded. Very good. Then I promise that I will not attempt to leave you like I did last time. I am sorry, Naruto said, and Samui quickly hugged him again while she nodded. Naruto sighed softly as he looked at the ceiling. He wasn't sure what to make of this. He never thought that in his life he would be missed. Is this what it was like to have a real sibling? Samui, we have to go. Our teams will be searching, Naruto said while Samui slowly nodded. Yes, you are correct, Samui said, straightening up and letting go of her fellow blonde. Naruto turned around to leave for the door before he found his hand grabbed by Samui's. He turned his head slightly and saw her looking at the ground. "You're home. I want to know where you live so I can visit." "I don't know when I'll be able to do it again," Samui said while Naruto narrowed his eyes. "You know Ryuzetsu, right?" Naruto asked and Samui nodded instantly. "On her team is a boy named Sai. He knows where I live, but I can't write it down and risk you losing it. When you see him, tell him this." Naruto spoke with Samui, and she nodded her head before they both finally left the room. Somewhere else, Sakura, Sasuke, and Kakashi were waiting for Naruto to show as they leaned against the trees. "Where is that idiot? He's going to make us late," Sasuke snarled out while Sakura rubbed her left arm. "I'm sure Naruto-kun has a good reason. Maybe he got held up by something," Sakura said with a shrug while Sasuke sighed. "An accurate observation, Sakura. You're learning," Kakashi and Sasuke gasped while Sakura smiled. "Well, I had a really good teacher," Sakura said, looking up, getting Sasuke and Kakashi to follow her eyes as they noticed Naruto on the trees above them. "Naruto, where have you been?" Kakashi asked while Naruto jumped down. "Take care of some things that concern me." "Please excuse the lateness," Naruto said while Sasuke just pinched the bridge of her nose. Kakashi shook his head before smiling. "Well, at least you're alright. That's all that matters, but now to give you your information. The next examination is in the place where Naruto lives. Good luck," Kakashi said, vanishing in smoke while Sakura raised an eyebrow. "The Forest of Death? Why do we have to go there?" Sakura asked while Naruto sighed. "Just as I expected," Naruto said before he rushed off with Sakura and Sasuke right behind him in their pace. Leaving the village behind, Naruto and the others ran the entire distance to the Forest of Death and quickly dropped down to the ground, noting the few teams who were still there anyway. Looking at everyone else, Naruto dodged a light slap to his shoulder. He turned and noticed Kiba right behind him. "Yo, Naruto, what was that back in the classroom? That whole stupid speech on responsibility? What do you know about responsibility anyway? Stop trying to act tough," Kiba said before he was smacked over the head. "Shut it, dog breath. You could stand to be a little more responsible too," Sakura growled out while Kiba rubbed his head. "Damn it, you hit hard," Kiba said while Naruto looked off into the distance. He merely shook his head a few times before he noticed more and more teams coming in. 2 teams from Kuri came, the teams from Kumo and Iwa came, and soon after them were Ryuzetsu, Haku and Sai. Instantly Naruto noticed Samui head over to the group to speak with the one called Sai. He saw Ryuzetsu's eyes widen before she greeted Samui while Naruto figured, explaining their relationship to Haku and Sai. Naruto just nodded before he heard clapping. "Alright, well, it looks like all you fuckers made it. I'm proud of you. No, not really. Just makes this shit more explaining for me, so listen up, damn it. We're about to begin the second phase of the Chunin exams. Welcome to my most beloved training ground. Training ground number 44, or as we like to call it, the Forest of Death," Anko said, and people heard a loud roar, then proceeded to instantly gulp while others had their own reservations about actually continuing. "You know, it would be a lot more intimidating for me if I hadn't lived there for like the past month or two. Guess I have you to thank for that, Naruto-kun," Sakura said while Naruto folded his arms. "Such a forest is hardly scary even if it should be your first time. Always be prepared," Naruto said, and Anko's eyebrow twitched. "Ah, screw feelings right now. This was just plain justice." Anko grinned and tossed a kunai in Naruto's direction, while the blonde merely tilted his head to the side. Anko then threw 2 more and they stuck themselves to the front of Naruto's book while the blonde sighed. He then narrowed his eyes as he felt Anko's hands on his shoulders. "You know, overconfident ones are those who usually die the fastest," Anko said a kunai to Naruto's cheek. Sakura and Sasuke gasped, then stepped back, as did many others. "True, but what I bear is not overconfidence. Keep that in mind," Naruto said, and Anko grinned as she looked down to see a kunai pointed right for her heart if Naruto decided to kill her. "Oh, I'll be sure to keep that in mind," Anko said with a sudden loss of breath. Seems that now touching him got her short of breath, but if Anko wasn't mistaken, then she could see Naruto's chest rising and falling out of pace with normal breathing. She wondered what that was about, but chose to leave it alone. Great, oh how the two of them must have looked right about now. Thankfully, however, both Naruto and Anko took a kunai, swerved their bodies and quickly placed them to a vital point of a Kusa female, while her tongue held out Anko's first kunai. Sorry about that. I just wanted to return your kunai, said the feminine voice. Naruto widened his eyes before he bit his lower lip. It didn't matter how much this voice changed. It was his way of speaking. His vile, detestable voice. Oh, no problem, but don't sneak up on me. I hate that, Anko said with a smile while Naruto turned his head and his eyes showed furious anger as he stared into the slitted eyes of the woman in front of him. The woman turned to him and Naruto noticed her glare concentrate to him, while Naruto glared back. Kyuubi snarled, but said nothing while Naruto clenched his bottom fist and it trembled. Soon everyone was coughing before they started dropping to the ground. Anko quickly stiffened while Naruto clenched his fists tighter. He could see the woman's eyes reflect amusement of his actions while the air became so heavy that it was getting hard to even stand. Sakura, Samui, and a few others didn't feel it, but they knew it was coming from Naruto, the reason for everyone's current predicament. Gaara widened his eyes and turned to Naruto with a small maniac grin on his face. Yes, I must kill you, Uzumaki. You will feed mother for a long time. I will make sure that I crush you to death. You will make me feel alive, Gaara said mentally while Shikaku grinned triumphantly. The ground beneath Naruto's feet slowly began to crack apart, while the female inwardly smirked. My, so you do remember. I'm glad that you do, Naruto-kun. Your body has grown stronger than the last time. That's exactly what I want. I know what you want. You want what I took from you, don't you? Well, what are you going to do about it? Yes, I can see it in your eyes. The desire to see me laying at your feet. So what will you do about it? The Kusa female genin asked while Naruto suddenly stopped his aggression. He allowed people to breathe and get to their feet, though he noticed them stumbling to do so. Keep that foolish smile, Orochimaru. I will be your end soon enough, Naruto thought with a smile before the Kusa genin gave Anko her kunai. She quickly backed away while Naruto noticed the woman spin on her heel and walk away from the scene, which left Naruto at the middle of it all. Naruto-kun, are you okay? Sakura asked while Naruto slowly panted. He took a deep breath of air before calming himself. There wasn't a need to inform Sakura of his plight and worry her. He just wanted her focusing on the trials ahead. I'm fine, Sakura, Naruto said, keeping his rage suppressed for the time being while other applicants started to wonder just what that aura was, but no one was able to find it before they started to pay attention. Now that this is done with, we can get started. Let's see, how can we explain this? Well, you're going to have something of a battle royale. In the center of the Forest of Death is a large tower, and that is where you are to get to in a total of 5 days, Anko said while everyone blinked. Well, that doesn't sound too hard, Ino said, and Anko turned to her then sported a small grin. Oh, it's much more interesting. You see, right here are 2 scrolls called the Heaven and Earth Scrolls. We'll be giving one to each team, and you will need both scrolls on your team to enter the tower. You've got 5 days to get that done. Also, one rule, do not open these scrolls until you get to the tower, Anko said while Genin gulped nervously. Naruto raised an eyebrow while Ino's jaw dropped. Shikamaru groaned while Chuji panicked. What? What are we going to do for 5 days? What are we going to eat? Chuji asked while Anko sighed. There are plenty of berries, fruits, nuts and grains edible in the forest. Though I suppose one team has an advantage in that department, Anko said looking at Team 7. It was only for a few seconds, as she knew any longer would put her in that damn mood of hers again. Well, you could always fail if that was a problem for you, Anko said, and many others groaned, seeing no other option than to take part in the sick game that the purple-haired proctor was playing. Great, now then let's continue then. Now if you would all please take the time to sign these, then we can begin, Anko said while papers were quickly passed around. What are these? Someone asked while Anko held it up. Oh, just a release form. It states that if you die while taking part in these exams, then Konoha is not held responsible for these deaths. Please and thank you, Anko said sweetly, and in little to no time at all people had their names signed and ready to go. They took their scrolls and aligned themselves to an individual gate. Uchiha, give the scroll to Sakura, Naruto said while Sasuke raised an eyebrow and folded his arms. Why should I? I'm perfectly capable of protecting it on my own. Sasuke and Naruto turned around. If you weren't, then you wouldn't have survived this long. You have never been to the forest before, whereas I have lived there for a majority of my life. Sakura also knows the layout better than you do. Therefore I advise you to give her the scroll, Naruto said while Sasuke growled. He eyed Naruto and really wanted to argue, but the exams were already about to start. So Sasuke tossed the scroll to the pink-haired Kunoichi, and she carefully took it into her hands. Better not lose it, Sakura, Sasuke said while Sakura huffed. Yeah, sure. Whatever you say, Sakura replied back before placing the scroll in her pocket, taking out an ink pen, and drawing a small seal over the back that the scroll was carried in. Sakura nodded finally while Naruto did the same. Also, both of you, Sasuke and Sakura turned to the blonde while Naruto's eyes pierced the forest in front of them. Stay away from any Kusa shinobi that you meet. This is not up for discussion, Naruto said while Sakura frowned before slowly nodding her head. Sasuke gave a short grin and snorted. If I don't follow your orders, Naruto. If I see anyone worth fighting, then I will take them down, plain and simple. Just don't get in my way, Sasuke said while Naruto's frown deepened, but he sighed. Could it count as being responsible for his safety if the Uchiha wanted to actually go die himself? But then Naruto knew that Orochimaru wouldn't kill Sasuke. No, he wanted his Sharingan. Naruto knew that much. He'd have Sasuke as strong as possible, then take his Sharingan for himself. Naruto had no doubt that this would happen, if he let it happen. Naruto wasn't about to let that happen. Anko grinned on top of the gate that she was sitting on and smiled. All right, everyone should be in place. Time to let loose some international hell. Anko shouted and the gates blasted open as Team 7, Team Samui, Fu's team, Kuratsuchi's team and many other ran through the door and hopped across the trees. Naruto shot forward, along with Sasuke and Sakura. The blonde quickly stepped on one tree branch, not even making a sound with his footsteps as he continued to run forward. However, he suddenly stopped on a branch. Sakura, tell me what you can find, Naruto said while Sakura nodded. Quickly forming a hand sign and closing her eyes, Sakura pinged her chakra across the forest and managed to find chakra signatures of the big and dangerous animals, but also of other people running. She then opened her eyes and turned. Well, we're not near anyone right now, Naruto-kun, but the closest team to us is most likely the team from Nadeshiko, Sakura said while Naruto sighed. I see. Then that will be the team that we target. We're fighting to capture and restrain. Do not kill unless necessary. Now then, go! Naruto said as they shot off through the trees. As they continued running, Naruto kept his presence down to the bare minimum, as did Sakura and Sasuke. I've never even heard of this, Nadeshiko, before. Must be a weak village if it's not even known very well, Sasuke said while Sakura hopped over a rooftop. I'm inclined to agree with Sasuke. Naruto-kun, do you even know anything about Nadeshiko? Sakura asked while Naruto hopped forward. I only know of them, Naruto lied. He actually had a prior dealing with Nadeshiko before, and he really seemed to stand clear of them then, mostly just out of principle. But it was also because, as good as he was, he still could hardly compete with some of the women there. Nadeshiko was a female-run village. A group of very proud women whose only use for men was to impregnate their females, which had to be girls or something like that. Naruto doubted that, but he never stayed long enough to find out. At the time, he had to keep moving on with his training. He didn't have the luxury of staying in one place for too long. As they continued in their running, Naruto suddenly felt one of his seals ping. Sakura could feel the same, and she noticed Naruto reach into his pocket. Come on, we're making a detour, Naruto said as he took out a piece of paper with a seal on it. For what? Sasuke asked. Naruto ignored it before he made a sharp right turn while Sasuke and Sakura followed him. Both saw him quickly burst a chakra into the sealing paper while Naruto's eyes reflected their usual seriousness. He looked out into the woods and gave a light nod. A few seconds earlier, a team from Kiri ran through the trees of the forest as they smirked with each other. They were going to find anyone and everyone to fight so they could get their scroll in advance. Hopefully they could either deal with Suna or Iwa. Either was fine by them, but for now they had to rest from the long day. It was still mid-afternoon, and they were beginning to slow down. "Is anyone close to us?" the leader asked while one of the other men held up a hand sign. "No, there isn't anyone near us for quite a while." "Wait, what is that?" "I'm picking up some residual chakra in one main area of the forest. It might be a team, so let's be sure," he said, and the leader gave a small smirk. He clutched a large sword at his waist before nodding. In little to no time at all, the 3-cell team from Kiri dropped to the ground and gasped as they spotted a large house along with a pond. "Is this a house? Who the hell would live in here?" the third member asked while the other two shrugged their shoulders. "Like I give a fuck. We'll just have to impose on the fuckers now, won't we?" the leader asked while the other two sported grins of their own before giving their consent of their leader's action. The leader and his team ran up to the house and pressed their backs to the outside wall. Each took a kunai while the leader grabbed the door handle and held up 3 fingers. 3, 2, 1. He shouted, and they busted the door down and barrel rolled inside. Each pair of eyes looked around the house as they flicked on the light switch. "All clear," one of them said while the other nodded. The trio continued to explore the house and smirked. "We have running water, a bath, the lights, and a TV. Oh man, are we lucky or what?" one of them asked while the leader plopped on the ground. "Too bad whoever lives here is gone. I'd force him to make us something to eat, but at least with this we can take our time," the leader of them said while the other two quickly agreed. One of them went for the remote and pressed it, turning on the TV. "Hey guys, what do you think this seal is?" one of them asked while the leader groaned. "Who cares? I'm just focused on this TV right here," he shouted, and soon the subordinates saw the seal glow and unravel. Dude," he said while the other two turned. However, they weren't fast enough as the seal exploded. The trio was taken aback by the explosion, but then they noticed hidden seal all across the floor, walls, ceiling, and anything else that could be touched. The first seal instantly set off a surrounding chain of explosions through the house while the team from Kiri shouted before a fire busted from the back door and consumed them all inside the house. The fire couldn't be contained before the entire house exploded into pieces upon pieces as it quickly crumbled to the ground. The animals scattered off into the woods from the explosion as it shook the very ground it was on, taking the Kiri team with it. None survived. Present. Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura dropped down in front of the blonde's destroyed house. "Naruto-kun, what happened to your house?" Sakura asked while Sasuke looked over the place. "So this is where he lives, is it?" "TCH. Sasuke sucked his teeth before folding his arms. "Don't be concerned with it, Sakura. I had our stuff moved to my next location. It's bigger and more capable than this one was. I had planned on leaving the Forest of Death anyway. I wasn't going to stay here forever, and neither were you," Naruto said while Sakura just nodded. "But why did it explode?" Sakura asked, and Naruto held up his seal paper. "It was meant for intruders. The idea of a house with running water, electricity, and other appliances in this forest is too much for Genin to pass up. So I planned that if I was going to lose my house, then I would take out some others with it," Naruto said while Sakura nodded. That was really smart, but she didn't know why she was surprised. "So that's why you left Rinko, Tuka, and Fu at that other house," Sakura said while Naruto shook his head. "No, they are at the tower in the center of the forest. It was appropriate to keep them there, but I won't explain the reasons just yet," Naruto replied. Sakura just accepted it with a shrug while Sasuke stood among the wreckage. "No doubt you fucking burnt their scroll too." "What a waste," Sasuke said while Naruto pushed rubble out of the way. "Wrong. The scrolls are made of a paper that is said to be strong enough to endure even the most brutal fires. It made from the great tree after all," Naruto before he noticed the burned bodies. He shook his head before reaching into one of their pouches and pulled out a scroll. "Which is it?" Sakura asked. "Earth scroll. Same as ours." "We'll keep looking," Naruto said while the others quickly agreed and shot off through the trees. With Team Ryuzetsu, Haku, and Sai dashed through the trees at a breakneck pace while Haku tilted her head to the side. "So who are we targeting first? Are we going to fight our president?" Haku asked while Ryuzetsu shivered. "Sorry, but I actually like living. Also, either of his teammates know about us, so they will fight us with the intent to kill. I'd rather not kill either of them. We'll just have to be lucky, I guess. So did you tell her, Sai? Ryuzetsu asked, and Sai nodded with his usual fake smile. Hi, she was a nice woman, and she knew the code, so I told her. As expected of Naruto-senpai's connections, Sai said as he hopped after Haku and Ryuzetsu. Stay focused, you two. We have to keep it under the impression that Sai isn't from Konoha. There is already a Kusa team coming at us. Fugai drilled some last-minute teamwork exercises into our group, so we'll make them work. Remember why we're here, Ryuzetsu said while Sai grinned. To ascend to the Chunin rank? Sai asked while Ryuzetsu rolled her eyes. No, damn it. No one in our company cares about that. We're here to make sure that Naruto-sama's money is being used wisely by this nation. These Chunin exams are a way to do that. Now then, let's have some fun with our first group, Ryuzetsu said as she stopped, as did Sai and Haku. No more running, you no-name people. We'll erase you from this world. Haku raised an eyebrow while Sai just continued to smile. We'll see. Bring on, you two-bit fools, Ryuzetsu said, taking a kunai into her hands. With Team Taki. Fu's two teammates looked at her as she huffed while healing from the burn marks across her body. Nice work, Fu. We didn't even have to get our hands dirty there. There really is a use to you. We already got the scroll that we needed, the leader said while Fu snarled, but stayed her tongue. It wouldn't do good for her to say something to her teammates. Aren't you going to say something, Fu-chan? One of them asked, actually feeling disgusted to say the word in such a fashion, while Fu frowned. She merely clenched her fists and kept herself silent. God, it would be so easy to end them, but she couldn't get away. No, not from this cage. Just grin and bear it, Fu. Just fucking grin and bear it, Fu said to herself, though she hated herself for it. She hated it to the utmost. With Team Kuratsuchi. Kuratsuchi and her team ran through the gates and hopped through the trees. With Kuratsuchi, let's hurry up and find that blonde bastard. He looks too much like the Yondaime to be a coincidence. I'm gonna back that damn bitch back for what he did to our nation, one of her teammates said while Kuratsuchi sighed. Shut up, Mitsuchi. We're going after anyone who has the other scroll that we need. We're not going on your stupid vendetta of pointless revenge, the brunette said while Mitsuchi sighed. Don't you give a damn about our village? He asked before Kuratsuchi groaned. Fuck yeah, I do, damn it. What's that have to do with anything? She asked while Mitsuchi grinned. They'd all be really happy if we got rid of that blonde bastard, Mitsuchi said while Kuratsuchi rolled her eyes. Get it through your fucking head, idiot. The Yondaime is dead. He's not coming back. You can't go around killing every blonde-haired boy you see. It's not like the Yondaime's going to give a fuck. Especially since he's fucking dead to try to give one, Kuratsuchi said while her other teammate grinned. Yeah, right. You're just saying that because you were in awe of that blonde guy's speech towards the proctor. You didn't take your eyes off him the entire time, the other male said while Kuratsuchi growled. No one did, you fucker, now shut up, Kuratsuchi shouted while Mitsuchi and her other teammate laughed. Kuratsuchi snorted and folded her arms before dashing forward, leaving her team in the dust. She's so easy to tease. She just can't take a joke worth a damn, Mitsuchi said before they raced off to catch up with her. With Team Samui. Samui, Karui, and Omo raced through the forest while Karui turned to their presumed leader. Hey Samui, what did you need to talk to those other guys about? I never took you as one to just go outright and talk with someone, Karui said while Samui continued to run. There was just some information that I needed to know is all. I was also scouting potential threats. By the way, Karui, that comment you made wasn't cool, Samui said while Karui folded her arms. Yeah, well, that pale kid had it coming. Calling me flat-chested, how dare that bastard? Karui said while Omo turned his head to the side. Well, he's not lying, Omo muttered to himself. Unfortunately, Karui heard him as she punched him over the head. What was that, partner? Karui asked with a dangerous grin on her face, asking for Omo to elaborate. Omo rubbed the back of his head and sighed heavily while Samui rubbed her shoulders. Honestly, you two are too much for me. I miss those days when I was traveling with you, little brother. They were generally quiet, unlike these two, Samui said to herself, keeping the other part to herself. Her eyes then darted to the left and narrowed. Stop fighting, you two. We have our first target. A group from Kuni. Be cool and follow me, Samui said, dashing left while Karui and Omo continued following her onto their target. With Team Gaara. You don't know where Uzumaki is? Then you are useless to me. Die. Sabaku Soso, Desert Sand Funeral, Gaara said to their leader before he crushed his body in sand, making his blood spill. The other teammates gulped before one of them took out the scroll. Hey, just take the scroll and let us go. We're not going to fight you, one of them said while Gaara glared at them. Wrong. I will be taking the scroll in your lives. You will die as well for not knowing where Uzumaki is, Gaara said, and the team from AIM shouted before being crushed to death by the sand in Gaara's gourd. Their blood spilled to the ground while the sand dropped their lifeless bodies to the dirt. Gaara turned around, obviously unhappy, while Kankuro smirked. Well, they were a really weak bunch anyway, right? Hey, look, we still got our scroll. That was easy, Kankuro said, holding up the heaven scroll that they needed. Well, what do you expect? They were weak, right, Gaara? Temari asked, but Gaara ignored her as he looked out into the forest. Gaara, say something? Kankuro shouted, and for a response Gaara turned to them and kept his usual glare. Shut up. Both of you. Such teams shouldn't be a concern to any of us. All I care about is Uzumaki, Uchiha, and that girl from Tucky. Nothing else matters, Gaara said before he was grabbed by his collar and forced to lock eyes with Kankuro. Don't we matter? Sure, we haven't been the best siblings, but we're still your brother and sister. Listen to us for a change, Kankuro said before Gaara kept his face impassive. Why should I treat you like a brother or sister when you don't do the same for me? Face it, both of you are scared of me, and you should be. I never once thought of you as siblings. Only nuisances. Now let go before I kill you, Gaara said while Kankuro growled. Mama, Gaara, don't do that. We have our scroll and we have our objective done. Please, as your sister, let's just go now, Temari said while Gaara turned to her and narrowed his eyes heavily. The blonde Suna Kunoichi took a small step backward before Gaara walked off once Kankuro let go of him. Temari breathed a sigh of relief, as did Kankuro. So what about those guys behind us? Kankuro asked while Temari smirked. I think they just about learned the difference between us and them. Come on, Temari said, rushing off with Kankuro right behind her. The people who had been behind the bushes trembled as Hinata backed away and fell to the ground. Whoa, boy, am I glad we didn't face that. We wouldn't have stood a chance. Guess you were right, Shino, Kiba said while Shino pushed up his glasses. We might deal with them in the future, but we must be ready to run if success isn't an option. We're all responsible for the others' lives, Shino said while Hinata and Kiba widened their eyes. Oh, don't tell me you're going to believe Naruto's words too? Kiba asked while Shino nodded. I do believe them, and I find a lot of truth within them. You should do the same. Now let's go, Shino said as they rushed off through the foliage. Back with Team 7. In those few hours, the sun had gone down and night settled in the forest. Naruto and his teammates stopped on a branch and then went down to the ground. We'll rest here, Naruto said while Sasuke leaned against a tree and Sakura sat on the ground. I wonder who we're going to fight here, Sakura said more to herself, but neither Naruto nor Sasuke responded as the blonde looked out into the forest. His blood was boiling. He could feel him coming. Soon. Very, very soon. Hey, do you guys hear that? Sasuke asked while Sakura and Naruto narrowed their eyes. Hey, yeah, the sounds of the insects stopped, Sakura said while Naruto widened his eyes. Jump! Naruto shouted, alerting Sasuke and Sakura as a large gust of wind slammed through the trees. Naruto cursed as he covered his body, but the wind was too strong as it sent him flying through the trees before the brunt of the wind slammed into Sasuke and Sakura, separating the three from each other. Sakura snarled as she felt the world around her and Sasuke spinning in too many angles. Sucking her teeth, Sakura quickly grabbed Sasuke's arm and, with her might, flung him from the fierce wind before she sucked in her legs and braced them against the tree. With the combined might of her body and the wind, then it wasn't much to keep the tree up until it fell to the ground with a loud crash. Sakura slid down the tree and to the ground while she saw Sasuke rubbing his head. Sasuke, are you okay? Sakura asked while Sasuke nodded. Yeah, but we got separated from Naruto. We're going to have to find him, and soon. He's the only one who knows this forest inside and out, Sasuke said while Sakura nodded, though it was strained slightly. She really wished that she could be of more help, but she only knew a general vicinity of the forest. Naruto never told her where the tower was. I agree with you. Hang on, let me sense him, Sakura said and held up a hand sign. She quickly pinged her chakra before a bead of sweat fell down her face. Sakura gasped and quickly stood to her feet. Sakura, what's wrong? Sasuke said while Sakura growled. Vile chakra, Sasuke. Inhuman chakra levels and a vicious bloodlust, Sakura said while Sasuke quickly jumped to his feet. Both noticed a Kusa Kunoichi come through the forest. Well, look at what I find here. 2 little mice just waiting to be eaten by a snake, the woman said with a smile, while Sakura and Sasuke stiffened. Sakura took notice of the Kusa headband before a flash of memory came to her. Also, both of you, stay away from any Kusa shinobi that you meet. This is not up for discussion, Naruto said. Sakura widened her eyes before she turned to see the woman slowly approaching the both of them. Is this what Naruto-kun talked about? He told us to be wary of this person in front of us. He wasn't kidding, Sakura said before she turned. Sasuke-kun, we have to run. This isn't someone you and me can take down by ourselves, Sakura said while Sasuke turned to her. He snarled and bit his lower lip, while the woman chuckled. Is that really what you want, Uchiha Sasuke? To run from me? You really are nothing like your brother Itachi, the Kusa female said while Sasuke suddenly growled. What was that? What do you know about Itachi? Answer me. Sasuke shouted, and soon both he and Sakura were under the full fur of an immense ki that just made Naruto seem childish. Sakura felt like her heart stopped and her legs grow weak. She dropped to her knees and shivered while Sasuke felt the immense pressure of being unable to even stand. He could feel his body wanting to end his own life as the 2 genin trembled. Sakura couldn't resist the tears falling down from her eyes while Sasuke shivered involuntarily. Kukuku, Sasuke, you are so delightful. That fearful look in your eyes. It's a good sign. I take it that you want my scroll, don't you? I don't know which ones you have. I have a heaven scroll, she said while Sasuke and Sakura widened their eyes. The woman chuckled at their reactions while Sakura started to grind her nails into the dirt. Ah, so you have an earth scroll, do you? Perfect, that gives us a reason to fight, but you know what's better than the fighting? The killing. So let's do this, she said as Sakura and Sasuke watched her hover the scroll over her face before she opened her mouth. They watched in shock and horror as the woman shoved the scroll down her throat. Sakura gulped as she pushed it down further and further until she swallowed it whole and snickered. Now, by the end of this, one of us will have both scrolls. And the other will be dead, she said, taking her finger over her lower eyelid and bring it down, showing the dark, malicious, evil presence and aura her slitted eyes presented. Naruto-kun, wherever you are, please save us, Sakura thought to herself. This was a bad dream, yet just a bad dream. It had to be a dream. With Naruto. Naruto landed on a tree branch and glared forward. Your tactics are still as asinine as ever, Orochimaru. If you touch my student, I won't take it lightly, Naruto said before he heard hissing. The blonde looked back as he noticed a large snake open its mouth and charge at him. Naruto balled his fists before he pulsed his ki through the air, and the snake suddenly stopped. It looked at him in surprise while Naruto's anger continued to rise with each passing second that the serpent was in his presence. Know your place. Get out of my sight, Naruto said, and the snake slowly slithered in recoil and a natural fear for its own life. Naruto kept his eyes on its form, and the snake noticed his eyes grow to slits. You try my patience. Get lost, Naruto said, and the snake slithered away fast while Naruto calmed himself. He sighed and glared forward. The blast had sent him a considerable distance away, and damn it if that wasn't what he wanted at the moment. Do you have any objections with what I'm about to do? Naruto asked, and Kyuubi opened one of his eyes. Why should the affairs of you mortals interest me? Do whatever the fuck you want. Just don't bother me if it holds no purpose, Kyuubi said before going silent while Naruto stared forward. He was a ways away and it would take him some time, but he would get to them. He hoped Sakura was alright. Adding chakra to his feet, Naruto blasted off hard enough for his foot to leave a print on the tree branch as he dashed off. Orochimaru, you really are underestimating me if you think I'll let you get away from me again. I'm not so naive, Naruto thought to himself as he shot off. Back with Sakura and Sasuke. God damn it, move, Sakura. Move! You vowed to get stronger. All those training sessions with Naruto-kun. Were they worthless? Move! Sakura shouted mentally as she slowly held up her kunai. The Kusa woman raised an eyebrow and silently applauded Sakura's efforts. Impressive. She's trying to move to fight me. Impressive, Naruto-kun, she said in thought before she flicked a kunai forward at them both. Sakura and Sasuke gasped before the former snarled. I am Naruto-sensei's student. He devoted his time and efforts to train me. I can't die here, Sakura said as she stabbed her leg. Sakura winced before she quickly stood to her feet and placed her hands together. The woman noticed the seals on her body disperse before Sakura lunged for Sasuke, swerved her feet, and dashed off in a cloud of smoke while the woman's kunai slammed into a tree. She raised an eyebrow as did Sasuke while Sakura quickly appeared right behind her. Impressive speed. It seems that the card was wrong about you, she said while Sakura punched her in the face. One of Sakura's gloves sprang to life as a blast of lightning poured over the Kusa female's body, sending her flying through the foliage. Sakura wiped her cheek and grinned while Sasuke cursed. I didn't ask for you to save me, Sakura. I would have done it myself. I don't need your help. Sasuke snarled out before Sakura snarled. Fine, whatever, Sasuke, but I need your help. I'm not dying here, you understand me? I'm going higher. I don't know where, but I want to keep climbing. And for that I need you, Sakura said as she grabbed Sasuke by the scruff of his neck and kissed him. Sasuke widened his eyes to the intrusion of affection before a large light came over both of them. The Kusa woman, who emerged unaffected by Sakura's punch, watched with a small smile etched on her face as the light danced around Sakura and Sasuke. The pink-haired kunoichi parted from the brunette Uchiha as a large line came over both their seals. Sakura was suddenly assaulted with memories of techniques Sasuke used, his fighting style, and a few memories. She sighed blissfully while Sasuke found himself in awe of Sakura's fighting style, her techniques that she learned, her sudden strength, and other things. Both slowly dropped to the ground as the light disappeared. I just partnered, Sakura thought to herself before smiling, however she held a grimace. Ugh, did I really want to kiss those lips at one point? Kami, they're chapped like hell, Sakura thought before she looked forward. She gasped as she saw how clear everything looked. Her entire body felt different. Was this what it was about? Sasuke just looked in shock also before Sakura turned to him. That means nothing, Sasuke. It's just business, Sakura said while Sasuke turned to her. Sasuke responded before he noticed Sakura dash towards the woman. She quickly put up a block, but she was surprised when Sakura slammed her in the stomach. Whoa, I totally predicted that she would block. She was so open, Sakura thought before sending her flying through the air. Orochimaru looked back while Sakura flashed through some hand signs. Katan, Gokaku no Jutsu, Sakura shouted, unleashing a large fireball through the forested area while Orochimaru backflipped through the air. He landed on a branch before he turned his head and noticed Sakura right behind him. The smirk never left his face as Sakura kicked him in the spine and into the air. I feel so in tune. Is this a partnering? Sakura thought before she grabbed Orochimaru by his arms and held him in submission. The 5 minutes for her gloves ticked away before Sakura bursted his body into fire. This girl. She's not bad, but Sakura gasped as Orochimaru chuckled and kneed her in the chin. Sakura then quickly formed a block to stop one of his punches, but it quickly switched to a midsection punch that hit her square in the stomach. Sakura coughed before she was sent into the stump of a tree. She slid to the branch while Orochimaru smiled. You're good, but still weak, Orochimaru said while Sakura huffed. Katan, Ryuka no Jutsu, came a sudden voice as Orochimaru noticed Sasuke jump in front of Sakura and spew a large section of fire in his direction. Sasuke and Sakura covered their eyes as they saw the fire explode upon contact while Sasuke smirked. Don't think you're going to surpass me that easily, Sakura. You're still annoying, Sasuke said while Sakura snorted. There is just no pleasing you, is there, Sasuke? Sakura asked while Sasuke gave an arrogant grin. However, that grin didn't last long as they heard chuckling. Both Sasuke and Sakura turned back to see Orochimaru clapping with his feminine hands while looking at both with interest. Sasuke, I'm disappointed in you. Your brother didn't need a partner, so why should you take one? Well, it doesn't really matter. It's not like the Sharingan can manifest itself in your little partner anyway, but you will both see the futility of your efforts, Orochimaru said as he ripped a cloth from his arm, and soon all worries were justified as Sakura and Sasuke saw the seal on his hand. From that seal came rings that circled all around his arm going up to his shoulder, and each ring was connected by a long line that stopped just at the base of his neckline. What? He has that many partners? Sakura gasped out while Sasuke did the same. This is true power, Sasuke. Can you really face someone with this many partners? Orochimaru asked while Sasuke and Sakura snarled. It was then that Sasuke coughed when he was kicked, sending him to the ground. Orochimaru then swerved his body and legs, planting them into Sakura's arms since she managed a block, but the force behind them was staggering as it knocked her off the branch. Sakura rebounded through the air and swirled her body while she flicked a kunai upwards. Orochimaru dodged it, but he saw the wire connected to it as Sakura swung through the air. The wire wrapped around the tree branch, scratching it intensely while Sasuke jumped into the air. He sent out both his feet, one after the other, while Orochimaru blocked them all. He then turned his head and backflipped as Sakura slammed the branch with her foot. Sasuke's Sharingan was spinning violently as he and Sakura blurred out of sight together. Orochimaru grinned before he blurred out with them. It wasn't even a second later that Sasuke was kicked into the air, spewing blood from his mouth. Sakura coughed and slid across the ground before bashing against a tree. She cursed and stood to her feet. Even with her seals off, she was no match for him. How was this possible? Sakura quickly got back to her feet before Orochimaru grabbed her neck and hoisted her into the air. This is the difference between you and me. You thought you were giving me a fight. You weren't even a threat, Orochimaru whispered in her ear while Sakura growled. She quickly brought her foot back and launched it at Orochimaru's chin, but she suddenly shouted in pain as lightning shook her entire body from head to toe. Sakura coughed once again and slumped her arms before growling at Orochimaru. So where is your sensei? Not here to help you, is he? Orochimaru asked while Sakura widened her eyes. Put her down. Orochimaru turned his head as he saw Sasuke charging him. However, faster than Sasuke's Sharingan could follow, Orochimaru appeared in front of him, and with one hand subdued the Uchiha while Sasuke felt his chakra draining. What is this? Sasuke asked while Orochimaru smirked. All this power is from the pawns I have collected. How about it, Sasuke? See what I can offer you. Your talent is wasted on this village. You even wasted some of it on this girl here, Orochimaru said while Sakura snarled. It was then that Orochimaru turned and he noticed a log in Sakura's place. He raised an eyebrow before he looked down to see Sakura's fist pumped with chakra. Naruto-kun, do you really think I could be a Chunin? Sakura asked, and Naruto looked down. Sakura slammed Orochimaru in the chin, sending him into the air, forcing him to drop Sasuke while the seals on her body quickly came off. Sakura spun across the ground on her back and then with a push of her legs vanished in a burst of speed. I'm not useless. I'm not useless. Naruto-kun said he was proud of me. I'll live up to his expectations. Sakura said in thought as she ran up a tree at her best speed while she could see Orochimaru sailing through the air. I believe you are capable of so much more than the Chunin rank, Sakura. Never let your doubt stop you from trying. If you give up without trying, then you will be nothing, but the ones who try will have the satisfaction of knowing that they tried. You have that potential, Naruto said, and Sakura looked at him. Sakura shouted at the top of her voice before sucking in her legs and pushing forward towards the airborne Orochimaru as the snake Sannin looked out to see her just over him. Doton, Yugun Suri, Sakura shouted as she slammed her chakra-empowered fist into Orochimaru's spine. Sasuke gasped as Sakura, with all her weight, sent them both falling as Orochimaru bashed into a tree and fell through it. He then slammed into another and crashed that one. Again. Again. Sakura gritted her teeth as with each branch Orochimaru slammed into, he would keep going while Sakura's fist kept up the pressure. Don't insult my sensei when you know nothing, Sakura shouted as they continued to crack and bash through the branches. Down, down, and more down they went before she went and slammed him into the ground below, ushering a mighty crash and picking up dust. Sasuke covered his eyes before he noticed the dust disperse to see Sakura panting with her fist extended as well as the Kusa female's body arched back uncomfortably. Sakura, Sasuke thought while Sakura panted. Impressive little girl. You sure know your stuff. Sakura widened her eyes and looked back to see Orochimaru standing right behind her. She looked back and noticed a dried-up corpse in front of her. But how? I would have sensed him, Sakura thought before she felt a kunai stabbed into her back. She fell to the ground. Sakura shivered while the tears fell down her face. Naruto-kun, I'm sorry. I really am weak. I couldn't even take out one enemy, Sakura said in her thoughts while Orochimaru stood over her. You can still save her, Sasuke-kun. Or are you so impressed by my strength that the will to move has been lost to your legs? Well, it doesn't matter. I will remedy your mistake, Orochimaru said, taking another kunai. Sasuke snarled as he balled his fists. Come on, move! You've got to move! Sasuke commanded while Orochimaru held his kunai overhead. Sakura's tears stained the ground while Orochimaru swung his kunai down for the final stab. With Anko blissfully unaware of what was going on, Anko continued to eat some dango and some red bean soup as she looked up at the night sky. She really wanted to go to sleep, but she didn't have to be at the tower until late tomorrow night. That wasn't much of a problem for her. She just stretched her back and groaned happily. Well, she couldn't even say that. Not since she felt that pressure from Naruto those hours ago. She honestly didn't even know he could get angry. He was so composed that it seemed unnatural. She didn't know what to make of it, and she was happy that she hid it well, but she had definitely found a pain to it. It was sort of a good pain, but bad pain at the same time. This kind of thinking wasn't cut out for her. Anko Midarashi. Anko opened her eyes and turned to see 3 Anbu dropping to the ground. What is it? Do you know what time it is? She asked, but the Anbu ignored her complaining. We have a problem, one of them said while Anko leaned up and raised an eyebrow. We discovered bodies, the Anbu said while Anko tilted her head to the side, not really seeing the problem with what they were saying. So, she stood to her feet. Okay, isn't that normal? I think it would be abnormal if there wasn't any bodies, Anko said while the head Anbu just sighed. Just come with us and help us investigate, he said, and they shot off with Anko feeling that this wasn't all that big of a deal. Oh, how wrong she was. The scene wasn't far away at all as the Anbu took Anko to the place that they wanted her at. Anko looked at the bodies of 3 dead Kusa shinobi. What the fuck is this? Anko asked as flies and maggots swarmed the rotting corpses of the people in front of her. It's obvious that their faces have been taken. We suspect that the death was just before the second phase of the Chunin exams, one of the Anbu's subordinates said while the blood in Anko's body ran cold, and her face paled. There is no doubt about it. This is his handiwork. That means he's in the forest, and that means Naruto. Anko gasped before she quickly stood to her feet, somehow surprising the Anbu. Inform Hokage-sama. Get going! Orochimaru has infiltrated the Chunin exams. Move! Anko said, and the Anbu bursted out of sight while Anko quickly hopped over the gate and dashed off through the trees. That's why Naruto was so angry. He felt Orochimaru before I did. Why didn't he warn me? Anko wondered to herself before her eyes widened in realization. I will be the one to defeat Orochimaru. His death will be done. Should you go after him, then you can, but I will be his death, Naruto said. Anko panted while she clutched her chest tightly, but continued running. Sorry, Naruto, but I can't let you take that away from me. I want to do it personally, Anko said, dashing off while her chest finally cooled down enough for her to run without worry. She just hoped that she would make it in time. Back with Naruto. Sakura pretty much assumed death to be cold, hard, and painful. No, rather it was very warm, soft, and comforting. Why was this? Was she not dead yet? Sakura groaned as she opened her eyes slightly, and saw a mess of blonde hair. She then widened her eyes, as did Sasuke, to see Naruto holding his teammate in his arms. "And Naruto-kun," Sakura managed to get out in little more than a whisper. "Are you okay, Sakura?" Naruto asked while he slowly set Sakura down. She just nodded, still amazed. "I'm sorry, Naruto-kun. Even partnered, I still couldn't beat him," Sakura said while Naruto stood to his feet. "Do not be so worried, Sakura. You and Sasuke combined couldn't hope to take this," Naruto said while Sakura seemed surprised. "Who is that?" Sakura asked. "That is Orochimaru of the Sannin. An S-rank missing nin," Naruto said while Sakura widened her eyes in horror. Did she actually think that she could compete with this guy? Sakura gasped and quickly turned. "Sasuke-kun, look out!" Sakura shouted while Naruto turned his head. Both heard Sasuke scream while Orochimaru's fangs bit into the Uchiha's neck. Sasuke shouted out in pain while Naruto narrowed his eyes. He and Sakura could see the 3 dark swirls take place over Sasuke's neck. Orochimaru retracted his neck and snickered. "Soon, Sasuke, you will seek me out in search of power, and I will give it to you. The power to kill your brother," Orochimaru said before he looked up and locked eyes with Naruto. "Kukuku, you still haven't even changed since I saw you last," Orochimaru said while Naruto suddenly backflipped through the air and landed on the ground. The blonde took a deep breath of air before turning around. He took a step forward. Each step felt like the release of heavy weights that knew better than to keep him down. He felt light. "Sakura, tend to Sasuke," Naruto said, and Sakura nodded before she quickly moved to help Sasuke while Orochimaru snickered. "Naruto-kun, how nice to see you again. You're not still angry with me, are you?" Orochimaru asked while Naruto took another step forward. The blonde slowly raised his hand into the air while Sakura saw Naruto walking towards the Sannin. "Naruto-kun, what are you going to do?" Sakura asked while Naruto took one more step forward. "Orochimaru, I will kill you," Naruto said, holding up a hand sign. He took a large breath of air. "Katan, Gokaryu, fire release, Great Fire Dragon," Naruto shouted before unleashing a heavy fire from his mouth, letting it burn the forest instantly as the ferocious flames raced towards Orochimaru's body. The snake Sannin smirked as he noticed the coming flames. "Magnificent, Naruto-kun," Orochimaru said, taking his own hand sign. "Suetun, Suijin Hiki, water release, water encampment wall," Orochimaru shouted, bursting water from his mouth that went splashing forward through the forest. The fire and water mixed together instantly, getting Sakura to cover her eyes. The flames raced out of Naruto's mouth while the water did the same with Orochimaru. The flames were barely extinguished by the water inside of Orochimaru's mouth until a heavy mist came over the entire field. Naruto quickly unsealed a long black sword into his hands before he charged forward. He sensed Orochimaru leaving the area and growled. "Futon, Atsugai," Naruto shouted, pushing the wind in all directions. The mist blew away and Naruto found Orochimaru nowhere. The blonde narrowed his eyes before turning around. "Sakura, I'm going after him. Take care of Uchiha," Naruto said and shot off before Sakura to say anything to him. She watched him go and a wave of concern came over her face. "Naruto-kun, please be careful," Sakura said before looking down at Sasuke's sleeping face. She brushed his hair before she picked him up and rushed off through the foliage to go and find some place for shelter. "My first partnering goes like this. This just isn't my day. At least Naruto-kun taught me some medical ninjutsu," Sakura thought, racing through the trees. With Orochimaru. The snake Sannin dropped to the ground and snickered as he placed a hand over half his face. "Yes, Naruto-kun, get stronger. Stronger and stronger. Then I will take your body. You've rejected my power once, but Sasuke-kun isn't the same. His Sharingan in your body. I will live for centuries never having to change bodies ever again thanks to your Uzumaki bloodline," Orochimaru said with a smirk. "You really still haven't changed, you bastard." Orochimaru grinned slightly and turned his head to see Anko right behind him. "Ah, Anko, my little apprentice. Or former apprentice? How are you? Having fun with these exams?" "I know I am," Orochimaru said while Anko growled. "Shut your mouth, you snake. I'm gonna make you regret coming here. I will be your end." Anko said while Orochimaru chuckled to himself. Is that right? Well, it seems that someone else said those words to me, Orochimaru said while Anko widened her eyes and balled her fists. Stay the fuck away from Naruto. I won't let you get anywhere near him. Anko shouted and Orochimaru looked up and held out his hands. Ah, so you're being defensive. I thought I was the most precious person to you. How cold you are, Anko. Am I really not better than a 13-year-old child? Orochimaru asked while Anko snarled. Shut up. Naruto is 10 times the man who you are. Anko spat, not knowing where that compliment came from, but decided to roll with it. See, that's where you're wrong. You know nothing about little Naruto-kun. However, I know everything about him, Orochimaru said while Anko took out a kunai. Shut up. Anko shouted while Orochimaru quickly sidestepped her kunai. He then blocked a kick to the face and slid across the ground. He gave a small smile and sent a punch for Anko's midsection, but she quickly and expertly maneuvered over it. She gritted her teeth while Orochimaru slid under her. How about I give you a taste of what I've experienced, Orochimaru said, and before Anko could tell him to fuck off, she coughed as she suddenly found a punch to the gut. However, she smirked when she poofed out with a log while Orochimaru narrowed his eyes. Sanaijushu, hidden shadow snake hands, Anko shouted from across the huge branch and rolled up her sleeves. Orochimaru just appeared amused as snakes shot from Anko's sleeves and raced across Orochimaru's legs. They wrapped around each leg, while Anko quickly went and slammed him to the ground with her snakes, and whipped them around her body, dragging him across the ground, proceeding to slam him into the trees behind her. Katan, Ryuka no Jutsu, Anko muttered, releasing a river of flames to Orochimaru's general direction, making the trees around them explode in flames, while she quickly jumped back and landed on a tree branch. Anko gave a short snarl while she watched the flames dancing. Sorry, Naruto, but this is my duty. Not yours, Anko said. However, she was surprised to see only a pile of rocks in Orochimaru's place, and couldn't help the indignities that flew out of her mouth. Sorry, what was that about duty? Orochimaru asked while Anko widened her eyes. She turned around and gawked when she saw Orochimaru's hand to her stomach. Hijitsu, Hakyōrikomi Sekuryoku, hidden technique, 8 centerfold repulsion, Orochimaru said, and Anko suddenly coughed violently as she felt a massive wave of pressure hit her body, enough to damage the tree behind her. It was quick, but it was very painful as it sent her crashing off through the ground. Anko quickly flipped and tossed a kunai for Orochimaru's body, but she watched as Orochimaru merely smirked. His skin turned dark and the kunai bounced off his body easily. Anko gasped before backed up. How did that happen? Anko asked while Orochimaru snickered. Partners are such a joy, aren't they? So many techniques at my disposal. It's nothing really. You wouldn't understand, my little Anko, Orochimaru said while Anko brushed her cheek. Yeah, whatever, you bastard, Anko said, and she looked up, but she found Orochimaru to be gone. She gasped and noticed him quickly surrounded her on all sides. Orochimaru grinned with each of his clones while Anko stood to her feet. Which one is real, Anko? You don't know? This is a very good technique. Not a bunshin or even a genjutsu. Now hurry, Anko. I won't let you rest until you find me, Orochimaru said while Anko noticed each Orochimaru take out a sword. The Kusanagi? Anko asked while Orochimaru snickered. That's right, Anko-chan, Orochimaru said while Anko quickly took a kunai. This was getting very bad. With Naruto. Meanwhile, Naruto was hopping across the trees, pinging his chakra to find Orochimaru. He was lucky to not be meeting any teams just yet, but he knew it wouldn't stay that way if he knew this like he did. He stood to his feet and looked out through the dark forest. He sighed and brushed his hand through his hair. He indeed did go this way. I just have to figure out where, Naruto said to himself before he looked out and noticed a massive lightning strike in a general direction. The young blonde narrowed his eyes and raced off into the distance. With Anko. Anko panted heavily while the blood dripped from her forehead. Her trench coat was torn while she dropped to the ground. She survived. She barely survived that one. If she was even a second late, then she would have been dead. Anko looked back at the defeated clones while she dropped to her knees. Oh, Anko, don't tell me you're done. I thought we were still having fun, Orochimaru said while Anko stumbled to her feet. She growled before she noticed Orochimaru quickly doing more hand signs. Katan, Hokkaku no Jutsu, Fire Release, Phoenix Fireball Technique, Orochimaru shouted, blowing a fierce fireball towards Anko that she was forced to dodge. Anko rolled across a secondary branch and panted while looking out. She brushed her cheek before she jumped into the air. I can still play Orochimaru, Anko said, performing an overhead kick that Orochimaru easily blocked. Anko grinned before she swung her other leg and kicked Orochimaru in the chin. Using her flexibility, Anko quickly grabbed Orochimaru's legs and slammed him into the ground before she flung him across the trees and into the bark of one. Katan, Mugen Karyu, Fire Release, Infinite Flame Dragons, Anko shouted, sending her fires rushing forward while Orochimaru smiled, but he raised an eyebrow when Anko quickly jumped into the flames. He narrowed his eyes at their rushing form before they quickly died out, revealing Anko as she quickly touched his hand and made a hand sign. This hand sign. Anko, Orochimaru said while Anko grinned. I can't beat you except by this. You and I will die here together. This place will be your tomb, Anko said before she heard more snickering. She turned and gasped in horror to see Orochimaru behind her. That's not me, Anko-chan, Orochimaru said, and Anko looked back to see the one she had dissolving into mud. Anko widened her eyes while Orochimaru shook his head. Hasty, hasty, hasty. You nearly killed yourself. I don't know how you've survived this long, Orochimaru said. Anko snarled as she swung a kunai for him, but he easily blocked it and hoisted her hands over her head. His hands glowed with blue chakra while Anko felt her own chakra leave her body very quickly. Aren't chakra absorption techniques the best? Orochimaru asked while Anko panted heavily. So what, you gonna rate me now? Anko spat while Orochimaru chuckled. I have much more class than that, Anko-chan. You are my precious little student after all, aren't you? Orochimaru asked as his free hand pressed against Anko's cheek. Anko growled while she turned her head away in shame. That's right. You're now realizing that you never had a chance against me, aren't you? Orochimaru asked while Anko growled. Keep talking, but the Umbu will be here soon with Hokage-sama. Do what you want, but you're not getting out of here, Anko said, and to her surprise Orochimaru laughed. You think they can stop me? No, they can't. If anything, the Hokage is merely a warm-up now. Well, I guess I can't say that. He could still kill me if I gave him that pleasure, but I hardly ever do that for anyone. I like to set things in motion. Plus, I think it's time for little Naruto to mature a little further. He is the ideal host. The perfect body and Sasuke with the perfect eyes. I'll never need anything else. Maybe your death will be the maturity that he needs, Orochimaru said as he took a kunai and touched Anko's throat. The cut was small enough for a trickle of blood to seep out while Anko closed her eyes. Gaki, I'm sorry, Anko said, but she gasped as she heard Orochimaru groan. She opened her eyes and gasped as she saw a foot planted in Orochimaru's jaw. Anko widened her eyes as she saw the blonde hair flowing in the night air. Naruto landed down in front of Anko while Orochimaru skidded back and touched his cheek. Wow, Naruto-kun, you still followed me. You must really hate me. What about your team? Orochimaru asked, and Anko turned to Naruto while the blonde folded his arms. I can place my faith in Sakura, then she will take care of Uchiha until I get back, Naruto said while Orochimaru smirked. Is that a fact? Well, it seems that you've lightened up from the last time I saw you. As expected of Uzumaki, your censoring is still first class, Orochimaru said. Naruto turned his head to see the tired and injured Anko. The two stared at each other for a bit, and Anko's chest pumped. She couldn't resist the blush on her face before she averted her eyes. Naruto then turned back to Orochimaru while Anko stood to her feet. Naruto, you have to get out of here. Orochimaru wants your body, Anko warned. Naruto looked hardly affected by her words. I know, Naruto said, and Anko stared at him wide-eyed. What? You know? Well, why are you in front of him right now? Anko asked while Naruto snorted. Because he can't take my body yet. Can you, Orochimaru? Naruto asked while Orochimaru gave a wide grin before he closed his eyes. Always the astute one, Naruto-kun. No, I can't take your body. Now forgive me, but I roughed up Anko a bit. You mind if I see just how far you've come? You do want this back, don't you? Orochimaru asked as Naruto and Anko saw him go into his pocket and pull out a necklace. Anko looked at the crystal that was attached to the long lace. A blood-red colored crystal, something of the crystal that Anko had seen Tsunade Senju wearing at one point in her life. Orochimaru dangled it in front of Naruto while the blonde loli snarled. Orochimaru, Naruto said dangerously while Orochimaru smirked. I still haven't figured out its secrets, but I'm sure that you know them, don't you? That's why I need your body, but you must mature a lot more before I can allow that, Orochimaru said while Naruto forced himself to calm down, but was hard. Well, I'll hold on to it a little longer, Orochimaru said, putting it back in his pocket. Naruto's eyes left his crystal and went back to the person who took it from him. Now then, let's have some fun, Naruto-kun, Orochimaru said while the moon was hidden by the clouds. Naruto took a deep breath and closed his eyes. He dropped his arms to his side while the clouds left the moon and he opened his eyes. Naruto took a step forward while Anko felt a bead of sweat leave her face. She wanted to tell Naruto to run, but her curiosity was stopping her. She wanted to know. She had to know. What was she feeling? She wanted to know Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto's footsteps increased, and soon his feet became a blur. He dashed towards Orochimaru, and the Sannin noticed Naruto quickly unsheathed a sword. Orochimaru pulled out Kusanagi and metal bashed against metal as Anko felt a sudden wave of pressure escape from them both. She watched as Naruto sent a kick for Orochimaru, but the Sannin easily blocked it. Naruto flipped through the air and took a kunai into his hands. He flung it forward while Orochimaru jumped back. Naruto landed against the broad trees and quickly sucked in his legs. He blasted forward with his sword and coated it in chakra. Orochimaru smirked and clashed with Naruto while the blonde did the same. His eyes kept to all of Orochimaru's body as he dodged a punch and then a kick. Naruto ducked under a side kick before he reached out his leg to somersault over Orochimaru's body. Naruto and Orochimaru clashed sword for but a second, releasing bursts of chakra. Now dodge this! Orochimaru shouted, encasing his fist with lightning while Naruto backflipped away. As he did, he caught the glimpses of Orochimaru's legs swerving until the snake was fully gone from sight. Naruto landed on the ground one final time before jumping into the air, and Anko was surprised to see Orochimaru right behind where Naruto had been standing. If Naruto had stayed in that spot, then Orochimaru would have easily sliced the blonde to pieces. Yes, Naruto-kun. So good. Orochimaru said, licking his lips with his tongue, making Anko grimace. Once Naruto landed, he found himself surrounded by a dozen Orochimaru shadows. The blonde sighed and turned back to see Orochimaru grinning. The clones charged Naruto, and Anko gasped as their swords pierced his body. Naruto! Anko shouted while Naruto stiffened. You didn't dodge? Orochimaru asked while Naruto looked at the ground. There wasn't a reason to. I just needed to draw you in, Naruto said before he exploded in lightning. The dozen Orochimaru manifestations gasped, but it was too late as the lightning trailed their swords and shocked them all. The original managed to jump away into the air before he noticed Naruto upside down on the branch. His anger flared while Orochimaru slightly widened his eyes. Naruto then, in one swift motion, stabbed Orochimaru through the chest. The blonde frowned, and at the same time Anko widened her eyes. He didn't get him, Anko thought to herself as she and Naruto watched Orochimaru disappear from their view. Naruto dropped to the ground and took a still breath before shaking his head. Grace under pressure always right, Naruto-kun? Orochimaru asked while Naruto's frown deepened. I guess it was foolish to think that you didn't improve, Naruto said while Orochimaru merely grinned. Oh, I can improve. I'll keep improving to the ends of time, Orochimaru said to him. Naruto shook his head and snorted. Such an insolent man you are, Naruto, before dashing back. Orochimaru did the same as they threw punches and kicks at each other. Naruto redirected one of Orochimaru's lightning strikes with his foot and used the propulsion to spring himself back into the air. Naruto quickly strapped his gloves to his hands and came swirling down. Orochimaru chuckled as he saw the flashes of white light bashing against each other while Naruto came down furiously, hopping to cut anything that came into his wire's field of range. Orochimaru looked ready to take everything before he saw Naruto hold a hand sign. Katan, Nagar no Jutsu, Fire Release, Streamline Technique, Naruto said, blowing fire across his wires while Orochimaru and Anko saw the beautiful display of fire dancing around Naruto as he continued to come down. The wires quickly met with Orochimaru's body and effortlessly sliced him to pieces. His pieces dropped to the ground one after the other before Naruto finally dropped and charred the branches with his wires, letting them fall and burn at the same time. Naruto stood on top of the flames and sighed. He turned and he noticed Anko looking at him. He narrowed his eyes for a second before he heard clapping. Not bad, Naruto-kun. You definitely passed in taijutsu now. I haven't even hit you yet, Orochimaru said while Naruto balled his fists. He didn't hit me yet. So, why am I slowing down? Naruto thought before he ducked underneath a punch. Naruto performed a drop kick, but Orochimaru jumped over it. He sent a kick for Naruto's face, but the blonde ducked underneath it and swirled his body across the ground. Anko watched as Naruto spun on his hands, pushing momentum through his legs, and she could see the small traces of futon chakra used to give him increasing power as the blonde connected a kick to Orochimaru's side. She thought Naruto would be happy, but she only saw more seriousness as Orochimaru grabbed Naruto's leg. The blonde shirked until he suddenly found himself thrown into the air. Naruto rolled through the air before 5 shurikens stuck to his body. Naruto snorted and quickly vanished in leaves. Kukuku, very good, Naruto. I'll continue to push you more and more. Let's have our dance this night. Orochimaru thought and turned around to see Naruto charging him from behind. His eyes narrowed when he saw the blue chakra-coated arms that Naruto had. The young Uzumaki swung his hands swiftly through Orochimaru's body until Orochimaru dropped to his knees. I just shattered your nervous system. Now you can't move, Naruto said while Orochimaru chuckled. Very good, Naruto-kun, but you're still naive, Orochimaru said as he opened his mouth, and Naruto quickly tilted his head to the side as the Kusanagi sprang from Orochimaru's mouth and into a tree. Naruto narrowed his eyes and then turned back only to see arms come out of Orochimaru's body until the Sannin sprang out and slithered off, leaving his other husk of a body. You're repulsive as always, Naruto commented while Orochimaru smirked. All for my desires, young Naruto-kun, Orochimaru said before he noticed red chakra form around Naruto's body. He also saw purple seals fade from the entire blonde's body while Naruto held up his finger. This is what you wanted to see, right? The Kyuubi's chakra? I will gladly have you witness it. Naruto said and blurred fast enough for the ground to crack, and Orochimaru couldn't react as he was slammed in the stomach. Naruto's kick sent him flying before the blonde grabbed his legs. Twirling his body, Naruto swirled Orochimaru through the air before releasing him and slamming him into a T. Anko stiffened before she saw Orochimaru emerge, at least until she also saw Naruto's slight smirk. Soon Orochimaru turned as he noticed 2 Narutos come out of the tree behind him and pin him to said tree. Suetun, Isen, Water Release, Single Point Sharpness, Naruto said, and with the water blade slashed Orochimaru's body apart, actually cutting the tree behind him, making it crash to the ground while Orochimaru dropped. Naruto stared at his fallen body before looking back, but he was too late to hear the shout. Sanaijishu, Orochimaru said, taking hold of Naruto's legs with his snakes. Orochimaru flung Naruto into the air and bashed the blonde against a tree. Naruto braced his body for the pain as it kept coming. He glared at Orochimaru's smile before he grabbed hold of a branch. Naruto then used his momentum and brought Orochimaru with him as they went twirling through the air. Orochimaru couldn't keep his field of vision before he was forced to let Naruto go. The blonde dashed for the ground before performing a hand sign. Suetun, Heron Bansho, Water Release, Stormy Blockade, Naruto said, and a waterfall of water splashed to the ground, and Naruto made more separate hand signs. Raitun, Jibashi, Lightning Release, Electromagnetic Murder, Naruto said, placing his hand in the water, and Anko had to cover her eyes as lightning sprayed off in multiple directions while Orochimaru held out his hand. His hand turned dark blue with chakra, and Naruto watched as his techniques died down into nothingness before he quickly stopped. Naruto gave a hard glare while Orochimaru landed to the ground. The snake Sannin chuckled again as his body trembled. He looked up and he noticed Naruto breathing heavy. Having trouble breathing, Naruto-kun? Is something the matter? Orochimaru asked while Naruto sucked his teeth. Did he do something to me? What happened? Naruto thought to himself before he noticed Orochimaru going through more hand signs. Naruto covered his arms in chakra while Orochimaru held out his right hand. Doton, Doryuden no Jutsu, Earth Release, Earth Dragon Bullet Technique, Orochimaru cackled out. Soon the earth below Naruto rose up in a large dragon head as clumps of earth were shot at his and Anko's direction. Anko watched as Naruto quickly slammed both his hands on the ground. Doton, Doryahiki, Earth Release, Earth Style Wall, Naruto spoke, raising up a stone slab to protect both him and Anko as the bullets slammed against its surface. Anko covered one of her eyes from the dust, but she saw Naruto absolutely calm, but his chakra was flaring. Anko could even see the small traces of red chakra leaking from his body. Is he using Kyuubi's chakra? But he's not losing control. How is that possible? Anko thought to herself before she noticed Naruto leap over the pillar while Orochimaru continued his assault. He looked up as well as while Naruto slapped his hands together. Futon, Shinkahol, Wind Release, Vacuum Waves, Naruto spoke and arched his arm, then swung it, releasing a blade of wind from his hand while Orochimaru jumped back. He then blurred out of sight while Naruto's eyes suddenly darted to the left. He held out his foot and made contact as he kicked Orochimaru in the stomach, kicking him off the tree and to the ground below. Naruto watched him go with a small glare while Anko watched as well. She turned back to Naruto in shock. Naruto, what are you? Anko asked while Naruto suddenly dropped to one knee and gripped his chest. The blonde coughed and hacked up blood that stained the large tree branch. Anko widened her eyes while Naruto closed one of his eyes, showing his pain. He panted before his left arm flared with chakra over his chest. Naruto, are you okay? Anko asked, forgetting her pain for the time being. She ran to Naruto and touched his back. Orochimaru distorted my chakra network. It's getting hard to repair this damage. I thought something was strange. He was toying with me, Naruto said while Anko's gaze softened. What do I need to do? Anko asked while Naruto turned to her. He looked at her eyes firmly, and for Anko, despite the throbbing in her chest, she kept the gaze with the young genin. What does she need to do? She doesn't have to do anything. Why is she even still here? She should have left to go get help, Naruto thought and weighed his options. He closed his eyes and sighed. His hand gripped his chest tighter, but for what reason he didn't know. I need you to watch my back, Naruto said while Anko quickly nodded. She stood to her feet and took out kunai. Just in time too, as both Naruto and Anko noticed Orochimaru land back on top. She growled while Orochimaru smirked. So you've got your resolve back, Anko. That's good, but you really should stay out of other people's fights, Orochimaru said while Anko glanced back. This is my fight too, Anko said as she charged at Orochimaru. The latter decided to indulge the former while Naruto continued to try to heal himself. The blonde could sense Anko's pain as she continued to fight for his benefit. He frowned deeply as he saw Anko kicked into the air and into a tree, but she quickly rebounded and charged at her former teacher while Orochimaru dodged to the left from her easily. He could see the sweat dripping off her face as each point of her strikes was sharp, correct, and full of the intent to kill Orochimaru. Risking your life for me. Anko Midarashi, Naruto thought to himself, and he heard Anko crash into the ground next to him, while she panted. Well, I think it's time I put an end to this. It was nice knowing you both, Orochimaru said as he slapped his hands together. Katan, Goryuken, Fire Release, Great Dragon Flame Bullet, Orochimaru said while Anko widened her eyes as a fierce fire blew over their forms. Both were covered in a sea of flames as they kept racing until they slammed into a tree branch, making it burn. Orochimaru snickered, but it soon turned to a look of surprise to see the flames instantly die down. He looked on and gave an even look while Anko opened her eyes. She looked up to see Naruto in front of her, and his left arm out. She noticed him breathing heavily, but she also saw they were covered by a barrier jutsu. Seals all around it while Naruto dropped to one knee. Is the poison working, Naruto? You're finding it hard to heal, aren't you? You can't hold up that barrier forever, can you? Orochimaru asked while Naruto huffed. Enko noticed the barrier beginning to fade while Naruto cursed. I was too early. I'll have to refine my chakra absorption techniques, Naruto said before both Enko and Naruto noticed Orochimaru charge the barrier with the Kusanagi, and quickly brought nearly all his strength down on it. Naruto winced, but held his hand up while Orochimaru snickered. Come on, Naruto-kun, you want to use Kyuubi's chakra, don't you? Give in to the hate. Give in to it and let me have your body. Orochimaru cackled and with a burst of chakra slammed his sword against Naruto's barrier, slicing through it. Naruto widened his eyes while Orochimaru swirled his body and kicked the blonde in the gut. Naruto coughed and went crashing across the ground. Orochimaru, stop it! Enko shouted, bringing her foot down over his head, but Orochimaru easily caught it before sending a sharp lightning current through her body. He repelled Enko, sending her into an opposite tree roughly while she slid to the ground. Naruto, you are still such a child. You really think that you can take me by yourself? Orochimaru asked while Naruto glared hatefully at him. That confidence of yours is what led to this. As compared to me, you are nothing but a weak little child. Come and I can offer you power. Power beyond your wildest dreams, Orochimaru said while Naruto's hand clawed at the ground. Going with you is not a part of my plans. You are wasting your words, Naruto said while Orochimaru smirked and grabbed Naruto's head. He leaned the blonde's head right and placed his mouth near his neck. I will give you my mark and you will be mine, Orochimaru said while Naruto snarled. Get away from him! Orochimaru turned to see Enko shout while she slowly stood to her feet. Naruto is weak? He's a child? Why don't you get a fucking clue, Orochimaru, Enko said. Naruto turned to her and noticed her beginning to walk forward. Naruto is the strongest fucker I know his age. I don't even know how good he really is if it wasn't for that cheap poison trick you used on him. He's a child? No, he's got 5 times the maturity that you ever do. He understands pain just like I do. He knows what it's like to struggle. He doesn't need you. The Gaki could kick your ass if he wanted to, Enko said and trudged towards them. She stood up to Orochimaru and looked at him. Naruto slightly widened his eyes while he balled his fists. I don't know what's so important about that necklace you have, but it's important to him. Naruto doesn't need your power. He is already powerful in his own right, Enko said before she gasped as the Kusanagi appeared through her back. She winced and she looked up to see Orochimaru holding the sword. The Sannin smirked and shook his head. Nice words, Enko, but stay out of our conversation, Orochimaru said, and Enko dropped to the ground. Kukuku, truly a foolish woman, right, Naruto? Orochimaru asked while Naruto looked at Enko's down body. He felt his teeth clench while his heart throbbed. His seal burned and he balled his fists. Who was this woman? What was her problem? Why couldn't she ever just listen to him and leave? What could she ever gain by helping him? Why was she this way? Why was he feeling this now? This wasn't supposed to happen. Enko was never a part of his thinking, maybe that's why he was feeling this. I need you to watch my back, Naruto said, and Enko nodded her head. Naruto never needed anyone watching his back. He had gotten fine on his own. Why couldn't that be the case now? No, it wasn't that he ever needed anyone watching his back. He had refused anyone to watch his back. Orochimaru was right. Naruto was a fool. He hated it when he found foolish things about his character. He knew he wasn't perfect and he never would be, but now he was better for it. Now was the time to rectify that foolishness. Silence, Orochimaru. You aren't worthy of calling this woman a fool. That is my right, Naruto said, and Orochimaru watched as the young Uzumaki quickly used his free hand to push himself into the air. He swirled over Orochimaru and planted his feet into the Sannin's back, kicking him forward. Orochimaru backflipped through the air and landed down. He glared up while Naruto landed to the ground. Oh, that's your right, huh? You've grown soft, Naruto-kun, Orochimaru said while Naruto turned around. On the contrary, Orochimaru. I think I've just gotten a bit stronger, if not a bit wiser, Naruto said, his back to Orochimaru while the snake summoner frowned. He watched Naruto walk towards Anko and turn her over. He placed his hand over her stomach and grunted as he pushed his chakra through her body, forcefully closing the sword wound to her chest. Anko gasped and coughed before she opened her eyes. She saw Naruto looking at her while he brushed her cheek. You really are a foolish woman. How could you walk up to an S-rank missing mean and not expect to get hurt? I'll never fully understand you, Naruto said, and before Anko could respond she widened her eyes as Naruto pressed his lips to hers. He forced his chakra through her body while Orochimaru narrowed his eyes. Just like with Sasuke and Sakura, a blinding light covered the night sky, except this one was much bigger. White flames danced around Naruto and Anko while the purple-haired woman somehow got over her shock. Her chest pumped, and she felt her injuries slowly begin to heal. Anko's breath hitched. She didn't expect this, but she didn't hate it. Her chest did throb, but not painfully. No, it was a synchronized beat with Naruto's own heart as she slowly closed her eyes. I see. I wanted him for a partner, Anko thought before she slowly raised a hand and touched Naruto's cheek, caressing it gently. Naruto shivered from that touch, but tried to ignore it. Both could feel pieces of their chakra exchange through each other's body from the lip contact, while a line quickly began to appear on each of their seals across their hands. Orochimaru squinted his eyes from the light before it became too much, making him cover his eyes from the sight in front of him. Naruto found Anko's lips rich in taste of red bean soup and sticks of dango. He could feel her hot breath against the bare of his upper lip, while he received flashes of all of Anko's fights, her loneliness, her happiness. He could find himself understanding all of her taijutsu and the jutsu she had learned. Naruto saw everything through the flashes. Her hard perseverance, her flexibility, chakra control, reserves, he could see everything. Meanwhile, Anko took everything in surprise. Naruto's lips were so warm and comforting. She could see Naruto using all 5 elemental natures, medical ninjutsu, his weapon-making skills, fuinjutsu, kenjutsu, genjutsu, mind reading, chakra absorption, his taijutsu style. It was perfect, everything seemed to be in harmony with his body. How a 13-year-old learned all of this was amazing, and this knowledge was coming to Anko full force. She found she could understand how to do them all and then some. Naruto's intelligence, his analytical skills, his chakra, his abilities. She could feel it all filling her body like a perfect puzzle piece. His insecurities, his joys, his anger, sadness, frustration, capabilities. She learned everything, but she wouldn't lie. She was enjoying the kiss too. Anko had been kissed many times, but none of the times could compare to this. This was harmony. Naruto and Anko tilted their heads to the side to deepen the kiss as Anko clutched Naruto's hair and pushed him forward more possessively. Naruto's hands pressed against Anko's back to bring her more forward. Anko panted and moaned in Naruto's mouth while the chakra exchange continued to fulfill both their needs. Soon they both broke the kiss and opened their eyes. The light and white fire faded from their view and drew itself into the center of their abdomens. Orochimaru narrowed his eyes as the light vanished. So you too, Naruto-kun. Interesting choice, Orochimaru thought as maniac grin formed while Naruto and Anko stared at each other. Naruto, Anko said while Naruto slowly laid Anko back down. You're still very injured. I will try to take care of you as soon as I deal with this, Naruto said, and Anko watched as the blonde stood before Orochimaru. Is that right, Naruto-kun? And what have you learned from my failure of an apprentice? Orochimaru asked, and Naruto brushed his clothes free from some dust. Simple. I now have the required amount of control, without Kyuubi, for this next jutsu. Never in my life didn't I predict that I would need to rely on someone else for help in my battles, but that was insolent on my parent. The name of my partner is Mitarashi Anko, and because of her I have gained control of my chakra to bring this jutsu to light. I'm sure you remember it. Burn in the fire and scatter to the wind in ash. Naruto said as he held up a hand sign while Orochimaru widened his eyes. He took a small step back while Naruto took a deep breath of air. Katon, Goku Mekyaku, Fire Release, Great Fire Annihilation, Naruto shouted while Anko widened her eyes as the blonde blew out a heavy wall of burning fire through the forest over a wide range. It scorched everything within seconds as the flames blasted towards Orochimaru's person. Orochimaru looked at the large wall of incoming flames before they covered his body and raced through the forest, and ushered a thunderous explosion that Naruto knew more than likely everyone in the forest heard. This was his only A-ranked katan technique, and it took perfect chakra control and tons of chakra that at times he didn't have. He had learned this from, well, he'd keep that a secret for now. Naruto continued to blow a stream of massive flames before he sensed Orochimaru had already left. Naruto-kun, I will leave you for today, but make no mistake. I will have your body for my own. I enjoyed this lovely time, Orochimaru's voice echoed. TCH, Naruto sucked his teeth while the flames died down. Anko could see the trail of burning flames for more than a quarter of a mile and shivered. She then noticed Naruto holding out his hand. She looked at it before scratching her cheek and taking it. Naruto hoisted her to her feet and soon both were silent. Anko watched as Naruto sat on the ground before forcefully pushing his chakra through his body. His hands glowed green while he touched up his body. He then moved over to Anko and began healing his partner as well. He's gone, Anko said, stating the obvious. Naruto closed his eyes and twitched his lips. I know. Seems even my strongest katan jutsu couldn't end him on the spot. Well, he will be back, but at least I know that right now I'm not strong enough to end him. Nowhere close to it, Naruto said while Anko looked up at him. She watched him as he sighed before turning to her. But at least when I fight him again, then I know I'll have someone capable watching my back, Naruto said, finishing up his treatment of Anko. He didn't offer a smile, but Anko could see the warmth in his eyes towards her. She just wordlessly nodded before Naruto passed her. Well, I have to get back to Sakura and Uchiha. I'm sure that I will see you again, Anko, Naruto said while Anko turned back to him. Naruto, Anko said, and the blonde turned around. He watched as she placed a fist in her hand and cracked it. You tell anyone about that kiss and I will skin you alive. Partner or not, Anko said, and Naruto raised an eyebrow. He slowly glared, but it stopped halfway when he saw the smile on her face. Naruto exhaled tiredly and placed his hands in his pockets. You're welcome to try. I doubt you would succeed in your endeavor, Anko. Farewell. Naruto dashed off through the woods, leaving Anko alone. Anko chuckled to herself before she looked down and noticed a case of pills and 2 bottles of water. When did those get there? Anko sighed and held up her hand, seeing the seal which signified that she had indeed been partnered. From now to the end of her life. That wasn't such a bad deal now that she saw it. Anko picked up the medicine and water, then dashed off. Anko applied chakra to her feet and gasped when she blasted off from the tree she was on. Oh fuck. I used too much chakra? Damn, how does he control this much? I don't even have as much as him yet. I can do this. Awesome, Anko thought, but she had to think about that later. Right now, she had to go and inform the Hokage at the tower. However, as she ran, Anko couldn't keep the grin off her face. She couldn't keep the sudden warmth from her heart. Despite her injuries, she felt so light. With Team Oto. Damn it, how did we get into this? Aniki is going to kill me for this, Zaku thought to himself as he heard a grunt. He looked up and saw Dosa kicked in his gut and sent to the ground while Sakura withdrew her foot and snorted. Again, get out of here if you know what's good for you. I'd rather not break you apart, Sakura said while Kin and Zaku snarled. Can't do that, bitch. We were ordered to kill Uchiha Sasuke and that's what we're going to do, Kin said while Sakura smirked. Well, I'm sure Sasuke could kick your asses if he wasn't running a fever right now. Sorry, but I have been attacked, partnered, and slammed all in one day. I'm not losing my partner in that same day, Sakura said while Zaku widened his eyes. Kin gawked, and so did Dosa while they noticed Sakura's seal. Katan, Ryuka no Jutsu, Sakura shouted, blowing fire through the ground of the forest while Zaku quickly took to the trees. However, they couldn't relax as Sakura instantly appeared behind Kin. What? She's so fast, Dosa said while Sakura grinned. I might not be much against an S-rank shinobi, but I'm more than enough for these guys. Naruto-kun entrusted me with this responsibility. I won't let him down, Sakura thought to herself before she punched Kin across the face, knocking her into the air. Sakura prepared to deliver the final blow before Zaku cursed and held out his hands. Zankaha, decapitating airwaves, Zaku shouted, releasing a burst of compressed air for Sakura's form. Sakura gasped before the wind clashed with her body and pushed her back while Dosu suddenly saw an opportunity. Now! He shouted as he dropped from the trees and rushed for Sasuke's unmoving body. From far off, Ino, Shikamaru, and Chuji watched while the blonde girl cursed. Damn it, they can't kill Sasuke-kun. We have to go help them, Ino said before Shikamaru patted her shoulder. Calm down, Ino. Sakura's got this, Shikamaru said while Ino looked back. What does Forehead got? Ino asked and Shikamaru groaned. Troublesome woman, just watch and you'll see what I mean, Shikamaru said while Ino looked back. Sakura narrowed her eyes before she backflipped through the air and landed on the ground, adding chakra to her feet and blurred from view, and Dosu was surprised for his neck to meet Sakura's leg before she hooked him and slammed him into the ground. Like I said before, you guys aren't passing me, Sakura said, hands on her hip. Dosu coughed and rubbed his neck while Kin huffed. Zaku snarled before Sakura dashed for him. Out of the corner of her eye, she noticed Dosu reaching for her. Sakura quickly performed an elegant sidestep against him. Dosu smirked as he pinged his wrist brace. Instantly Sakura's ears were assaulted as she clutched them in pain. Sakura skidded across the ground while her vision blurred. What the hell was that? Sakura asked while Dosu chuckled. Hurts, doesn't it, bitch? Don't think we'll let you kick us around anymore. Kin! Dosu said while Kin charged at Sakura. She let out a punch that Sakura easily blocked and then did the same with Kin's kick before her ears were assaulted again. Kin then kneed Sakura in the stomach, getting a cough from her, but Sakura didn't go down as she backed away. Sakura covered her ears, getting Dosu to smirk behind his mask. You can't stand, can you? Your sense of balance has been thrown off. I'll admit you're tough, but without your ears then you are nothing. The human eardrums can only hear up to a certain frequency, and if overload then it causes imbalance. My gauntlet carries out a high-pitched sound that unnerves the ears of whoever it hits, besides myself. You're out of your element here, girlie. Zaku, hit her! Dosu ordered. Dosu, don't order me around, damn it. Kin together, Zaku said, and Kin nodded. Daizenka, great decapitating airwaves, Zaku and Kin shouted at the same time, and the compressed wind quickly slammed into Sakura's body, sending her crashing across the ground next to Sasuke's body. Sakura panted while the three closed in on her. She stood to her feet slowly before Kin stepped on her head. Ha! Now you're not going to hit us, are you? Damn bitch. I really want to kill you, Kin said while Zaku sweated. He had to come up with something. From the way this girl fought, he knew that Naruto had trained her, and if Naruto trained her then she must have been important to him, and if Naruto lost something important to him then, oh dear God. Damn it, Kin, she's fucking down now. Kill the damn Uchiha, take their scroll, and let's get out of here. Zaku shouted at her while Kin flinched, but she did nod in agreement. No kidding. Bitch gave us more trouble than we thought, but it's alright in the end. Though I'd like kick her ass for what she did to my throat, Dosu said, rubbing it while Sakura snarled. What are you snarling at? Kin asked, and everyone gasped as Sakura grabbed Kin's leg. Oh, let go of me, damn it, Kin said while Dosu kicked Sakura in the stomach. Sakura coughed before opening her mouth. Naruto entrusts me with this responsibility. Compared to his punches and kicks, you're all nothing but children, Sakura said and quickly swerved her body. Kin gasped as her face met Sakura's heel while the young kunoichi pulsed her chakra and propelled Kin through the air and into a tree, making her fall to the ground. Sakura grinned while Zaku and Dosu cursed. All this work just for the Uchiha? What is that damn snake thinking? There is no way he wanted us to do this. He said it would be easy. Something isn't right here, Zaku thought while Sakura stood to her feet. So I need my ears. Who cares? I'll just give you the hardest dizzy kick of your life, Sakura said while Dosu sweated. Zaku took a step back, but everyone was caught off guard by a sudden wave of dark chakra. Sakura gasped and then looked back to see Sasuke and the swirling chakra that ripped through the ground. Dosu and Zaku gawked while Kin shivered. They all watched as black marks began to spread through Sasuke's body. The Uchiha opened his eyes and leaned up, then stood to his feet. He felt good. No, he felt great. The young Uchiha chuckled darkly before he surveyed what was happening. Sakura, who did that to you? Sasuke asked, looking at the three in front of him. Sasuke lay down. You're still hurt, Sakura said while Sasuke cackled. He grabbed his shirt and clenched it. Oh, I'm not hurt, Sakura. In fact, I feel wonderful. No, I feel perfect. I'll make these guys pay for their insolence, Sasuke said while Dosa stepped forward. Uchiha Sasuke, by order of Orochimaru, your life is ours, Dosa said while Zaka gulped. Aniki, what would you do in this situation? This doesn't look good at all, Zaka thought while Sasuke snickered. Orochimaru wants me dead and he sent you. Ha! You aren't even fit to spar with me. I will show you our difference, Sasuke said while Dosa charged at him. Sasuke, stop it! Sakura shouted while Dosa sent a punch at him. Sasuke effortlessly jumped into the air and flipped over him. He grabbed the back of Dosa's animal skin cloak and threw him overhead. Kin and Zaku watched in shock as Sasuke slammed Dosa's face against the ground. Ino swallowed the lump in her throat while Shikamaru sweated. Chuji dropped his bag of chips and nearly lost his appetite. Katan, Hozenka no Jutsu, Fire Release, Phoenix Sage Fire Technique, Sasuke shouted, unleashing several small fire shots towards the masked genin. Dosa quickly guarded against them while Sasuke used that opportunity to get around him. Sasuke grabbed his arm and with his knee bashed it against the ground, breaking the gauntlet in pieces. Dosa widened his visible eye while Sasuke chuckled. You seem to like this arm with this gauntlet. Let's have a problem solved with that, Sasuke said while Dosa looked horrified. And no, wait. Please don't. Dosa shouted while Sasuke pushed his leg on his back and twisted Dosa's arm until he effectively heard it snap and dislocated from his shoulder. Zaku and Kin widened their eyes while Sakura clenched her hands tightly. Hey, wait, man. Stop, just take our scroll and let us leave. We're just here on orders, Zaka said while Kin glanced to him. She nodded fast while Sasuke smirked. Sasuke, stop, let's just take their scroll and go, Sakura said to him. This was getting out of hand and Sakura wanted it to stop. With each time Sasuke used that power, Sakura could feel herself slowly succumbing to more and more anger. That's why she wanted to end this all very fast. Let you leave? Alright, you can leave, Sasuke said while Zaku and Kin breathed sighs of relief. As soon as I make an example out of this weakling in front of me. Weaklings must be eliminated, Sasuke shouted as he raised his hand which held a kunai over his head. He was set to bring it down before his arm was grabbed. Sasuke glared murderously at Sakura as she held his arm tightly. Sasuke, that is enough. I don't want to put you down because, like it or not, you're my partner, Sakura said while Sasuke chuckled again. Partner? No, you are not worthy to be my partner. So we did partner. Do you think that makes you my equal? Hardly, Sakura. You are still weak in my eyes. You think that just because you've gotten a little better that you can order me around? Ha! Not on your life. I will never be inferior to you of all people, Sasuke said, flaring his chakra dangerously, but Sakura released her seals and blasted her own. Both jumped back from each other and glared at each other. Yo, catch! Zaku shouted and Sakura grabbed the heaven scroll. She turned to him and noticed Zaku collect Dosu. Sorry, but we're fucking out of here. Aniki, your team is insane, Zaku said, keeping the last part to himself as he and Kin jumped off. Sakura pocketed the scroll and then glared back at Sasuke. He kept his grin while Sakura frowned. Never in her life did she think she would stand up to Sasuke. It's not like he would stop with some random hug. Nope, that wasn't her style anymore. Now she could put him down if she needed to. I will show you your place, Sasuke said as he dashed at her while Sakura did the same. Both cocked their fists back and launched them forward. Both made contact, but they were each stopped as Sasuke snarled and Sakura widened her eyes. Naruto-kun, Sakura said. Indeed, Naruto stopped them both easily with his hands extended. Naruto then swerved his body and gave 5 quick jabs to Sasuke's body in 5 precise points that knocked him out and sent him to the floor. Sakura watched him fall and the malicious energy recede. Naruto-kun, you're alright, Sakura said while Naruto nodded. Sakura, what happened here? Naruto asked, and Sakura spent the time explaining while the blonde narrowed his eyes further and further. It was just as he predicted, but to think that the curse mark manifested itself on Sasuke that early. The young Uchiha must really have desired power to get it that fast. I see. You did well, Sakura, Naruto said, patting her head while Sakura nodded with a light pink tint to her face. I'm PPY, Sakura said, leaning back to fall to the ground, but Naruto caught her and laid her down gently. He heard her sleeping and sighed. Using some clones to drag both back to the tree that Sakura took camp in, Naruto sensed Team 8 hightail it out of the area, leaving them alone. Naruto ignited a small fire, and then leaned against the tree bark. He heard the sounds of the forest, and closed his eyes. He was tired as well. I'll have to talk with Kisa when she arrives. Things have taken an unexpected turn. Orochimaru, Naruto's thoughts lingered before sleep claimed him and he drifted off from the very, very long day. That's it for part 9. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.